Hello, 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 and welcome back, because we spent a week off doing a little thing called SEMA. We are the Rag Company podcast. To my right, Levi Gates.
Hey, what's up, guys?
I forgot to mention, I'm Dane Hennen. Across from me, Anthony Fisher.
Dane threw it in the
We keep it going. We keep it going. Moving along. Anthony Fisher right there.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me here. I'm extremely excited to talk about SEMA Week 2019.
Excellent, wonderful.
Great question,
and
Anthony.
To my left, Morgan
also Dane
McMurray.
Hennen. I'm actually Dane.
Oh, hey, Dane. What's
Wow,
up?
my voice changed. All right, so we were all at a little thing called SEMA.
No, I'm tired still.
Yeah. Physically
I've been sleeping
exhausted.
for like 14 hours a night since I got home, and I don't know what time it
but
is.
It's only been like 2
I
nights.
wake up in the morning
Yeah.
and I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I took a nap yesterday because I couldn't see straight.
Fair.
Yeah.
I was that tired. And when I woke up, it felt worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my eyes were bouncing.
Yeah, couldn't
Did
focus.
you get any vertigo?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Like
Okay.
it was kind of nauseous when I woke up. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Well.
And so I went back to sleep for like another 20 minutes, and then I had to like get myself up to make dinner.
So I think what we're all trying to say is it was a great show, but it really took it out of us.
I was exhausted.
It was a good
lot.
show, though.
And for those of you that attend SEMA, you know what we're talking about. Those of you that work SEMA booths, you know what we're talking about.
And for those of you who've never been and think we're exaggerating, just ask someone who has gone.
Yeah.
If you don't trust us, ask somebody else who you know who's gone, because it will take it out of you.
Yeah. So, Morgan, it was your first year. What did
It
you?
was. Well, guys, I've been asked this question a lot of times. Like probably at least 75 times.
Okay.
Oh,
in the
okay. A
last,
lot of people asking.
last week because
75.
people even at
Yeah.
SEMA would ask me. They were like, "Oh, have you been to SEMA before?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." And they're like, "Oh, what do you think?" And I'm like, "Look, I just said what I think about 5 minutes ago, so you should have just been here. I should have just gathered everyone."
Wow.
Well, that's kind of a mean thing to say to people, but okay.
Since this is a podcast and we're talking about it
Tell
for
us
the
what
first
you
time
really
for our
think.
listeners, let's share.
What did
our
I think?
thoughts.
If I had to choose one word, I would say overwhelming.
Yes.
Why
That's
would
fair.
I say that? Because there was too many things going on all at once,
Yeah.
and tons of people, tons of different attractions, tons of things that you were smelling, whether it was the booths next to us, whether it was the tires being burned,
Food trucks.
food trucks,
Marijuana.
The amount of marijuana
There was
that
definitely a
in the
lot of
air.
that in the air, too.
the cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lots of people smoking outside. You
Yep.
go out to get some fresh air, and
And it
the
ain't
world
so
says
fresh.
that's not happening.
It's
for
all
you,
tire
sweetie.
smoke, cigarettes, and marijuana.
So
Getting
there's
sucked through the
there's
building.
no oxygen available for you there.
Not within like 2 mile square.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
but
Did you get to? Was it everything that you thought it would be, or were you like totally not prepared when you saw
no, it was. I knew that it was going to be like that. I think the one thing I didn't expect was the actual size of everything, because I don't know. I just didn't think that like from one end to the other would be that far. I mean, I know that you told me before. You were like, "Oh, it's like a 20-minute."
They give you
walk.
like a square footage, and they give you like it's this, and you see a map, but until you've walked it
Yeah.
yourself.
until you
it's-
got to go back like 7 different times
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah, if you got a booth you got to attend to, and you're like, oh, I got to go
Yeah.
do this thing over here and then go back, especially when your booth is on the other side, the far side.
Yep. So
Yeah.
that was my two main things, is that there was a heck of a lot going on,
Yeah.
and there was a heck of a lot of things going on in far places from each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
So
Was there anything that you wished you could have gotten to see, or that you missed, like after you came back and saw that you were like, oh, dang it, I should have swung by there? Or...
I think the only thing that I would have regretted not seeing that we did get to see was the drifting.
Okay.
Was hopping
Like
in
the-
that M5 comp and saying, "Let's do this."
You didn't get to do that?
I did.
Okay.
I'm saying if I hadn't
Oh,
have
you-
like if
if
we
you
didn't
hadn't,
if we
you would've
didn't
been
do that
bummed.
the very first day,
It wouldn't have gotten done.
then it wouldn't have gotten done.
Yeah.
That was your only opportunity, really.
Yeah, exactly. So I was very happy that we made time for that, because people were posting about it,
No.
and I was seeing everyone with the little tags on, and even just like walking past it, it was just so fun.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad my mom got to go too.
Yeah.
I
Like,
know.
She hadn't done that before, and she was nervous. She's like, "Oh, is it?" She loves drifting. She thinks it's super cool.
Yeah.
So getting her out there, and she came back. You saw her eyes were like lit up. She was loving it.
She was absolutely
That was
living
great.
it up.
She did
So
love that.
me and her decided that we're gonna build drift cars together,
Ooh.
I like this.
and hopefully
Start a team.
Yeah, start
Yeah,
a team.
let's
So,
Train with like Sarah Harrow or something, and
you know,
that'd be pretty dope.
yeah. So that's my update.
Wow.
All right.
Nice.
Well,
Love
do
it.
we want to lay this out
So-
in chronological order, or
Good
how would we
question.
like to
I think
do
we need to
this?
not get hung up on the small little details
So-
of like we left at this time
Yeah.
and we did this at this.
So first off, one of the things, if you didn't make it to SEMA, hopefully you've been watching our YouTube channel or watching our Instagram, saw some of our YouTube channel, some of the teasers we put out there. For those of you that were wondering what the big teases were that we maybe you missed or didn't see, or
Yeah.
maybe you're under a rock and you didn't
Yeah.
notice, but the new brand we launched at SEMA was Wowos.
Yeah.
Currently hidden behind your monster.
Currently hidden
can.
behind my monster drink. Here, let me move that out of the way. But so this is just a little bit about them. The company was founded in 2013. They're out of Glasgow, Scotland. Anthony and I have been working with the team there for about 18 months, working through how best we could bring these products to the U.S. So we are the primary North American distributor. And that's how we were able to get them into SEMA with us, because you have
Yeah.
to be the primary so that you can show the products in your booth. Otherwise, that doesn't work.
Yeah, you
So-
can't just carry any product you happen
Right.
to sell and put it in your booth and be like, "This is it." Seems
Yeah.
super strict.
They're
about
super
that.
strict on the rules, and so we are going to have these products available December 9th for sale.
Yep.
So you'll be able to buy them at theragcompany.com, as well as through our dealer network of other people that maybe carry Rag Company products. You'll find out December 9th who is actually selling these, but these are going
Yes.
to be a worldwide launch on December 9th. So we really like the line. We've had a lot of, and like I said, Anthony and I have worked really hard these last 18 months with Fraser and Robbie, who run Wowos. They make everything in-house. So again, just like the way we curate the Rag Company products, like PNS, like the Optimum, they are a chemist-owned company.
Yeah.
You want to
So-
go where the knowledge base
Yeah,
is, and you want to
so-
be close to that.
Right. So not just another brand. They are creating the recipes and manufacturing the product in-house.
Yeah.
So that's something we take very seriously, and something that we like when brands can do that. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of the reason. In case you guys were wondering, like, well, what made Wowos special? Well, that was one of the main things.
Yeah.
Second, we just love the way they branded the product. But two, the biggest thing was just when you bring in a product from another country, there are a lot of different things that you have to go through, and rules, and
Yeah.
certain just styles of detailing are totally different between different countries. So that's kind of the basis of this. We really like this product line, not only because we had input, but because of we just like the way it looks. We like the way it performs.
On a shelf, it'll speak to you.
We're excited to make it available to all you guys. So
Yeah.
that was one of our big reveals. The other was our towel, the
Yep.
gauntlet. We had that available as well for people to touch, feel, look at. It's a mixture of our twist and eagle circular knit weave mix. It's going to be available in 4 sizes, and it comes out January 1st, is what we've been told.
Yeah,
Just-
beginning of January, yeah.
Yep.
So, but those are the big things. So if you missed out, you didn't make it by the booth, we're sorry. We wish we'll see you next year. But in the next month and a half,
Yeah.
two great things are going to be coming out. So one, the
Oh, yeah.
entire Wowos line. Oh, that got on me.
Okay.
And
Excessive.
2 would be the new towel, the gauntlet, which will
Yes.
be in 4 sizes: 12x12, 16 by 24, 20 by 30, and a 30 by 36. I
Which is
believe.
super cool because you're offering
So-
a range for people to use the material in any given
Super
context that
absorbent,
they want to use it.
Really nice, yeah, really
From the
great.
wheels all the way up
So-
to covering a whole freaking
Yep.
hood. You can just go for it.
So getting into our road trip.
Oh,
This-
I should
oh, what
point
do you
out
got?
real
One more
quick.
thing?
Oh.
Well, mostly for
Dane.
the folks who are watching here, you see there's just a handful of products here.
Yeah, this
is
isn't the
not
whole
the
line.
entire line. I just want people to know
What? I
that
thought
who
this
didn't
was it.
see.
No, this is just for the
Stuff.
products so you can kind of get an eye
This
for
is
'em.
just a handful for you to check out.
periodically I will be sniffing and smelling these products.
Yeah, they smell great.
But rest
the way they
assured, there's
smell.
a complete line to be had.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
got 17 products, 18 products that we're launching.
Feel free to check them out on. They have an Instagram page called Wowo's Detailing. And it
Yep.
looks like they have some really cool pictures and stuff on
Yeah,
there.
you can check out the
them
whole line there too. We've got a photo up there for the launch. So pretty dope stuff.
And
anyway,
for those who are there at SEMA, they smell really good.
they smell. Yeah, yeah. We're literally handing out free smells.
Yeah.
And
But
speaking
moving
of
on.
smells, pick up your Rag Company air
nice
fresheners.
segue.
So let's get this party started. This
Yes,
episode of the podcast brought to you by the Rag Company because it was our trip to SEMA.
It's our
Wow.
thing.
Oh, no one
Look
saw
at
that
that.
coming. Look at that,
Oh,
right? Yeah.
way to
Love
switch
that.
it up.
So I was lucky.
Yeah.
You guys came and picked me up. I don't have to worry about
You didn't
that.
have to do
So-
jack. You just waited.
So what'd you guys do?
Well, we met at my dad's house in the driveway, bright and early. And when I say bright and
Wow.
early, I mean it was pitch black.
So were you guys on time?
Yeah. I arrived at 5 o'clock boom, on the
Excellent.
dot. And had Anthony with me. We drove the truck because I wasn't going to leave the Jag in the driveway.
No, of course.
Well,
But we were
your
able to
parents
park.
live in a really bad neighborhood.
Yeah,
so they
look out.
You couldn't have left that
But
Jag
we
in their
we
driveway.
parked the
We all
truck
know
in
that.
the garage because it was going to sit for a while because their trucks were going. So hey, left an empty space, worked out perfect. Yeah, so we basically packed up, got some coffee on our way out, and then we drove to the store because we wanted to make sure, just in case there were a few
Yeah,
things we wanted to
last
pick up,
things.
last minute stuff. Because, people are going to expect to see, like, oh, this sample or that sample. Well, let's make sure we got duplicates just in case. So we got that, and then we got out on the road. Obviously, picked you up along the way. Where did it go from there?
So we all so we were rolling 2 Denali's deep.
Yeah.
One
One longer than the other.
Yeah, so there's 4 and 4 in each vehicle. I hopped in the into the TRC
XL.
Media Group Denali XL. Or no, I was in the regular. We were in the red one, your mom's, the regular Denali.
Oh, right, yeah, because you rode with me.
So like
So
said,
I was
TRC
driving. I
Media
was driving
Group.
the red one.
Dane was driving. Anthony was sitting in the back. I was riding shotgun, as is key to the size and age of my authority, as
I
well
see.
as
Establishing
my,
dominance from the
Yeah.
my
passenger
age
seat.
group.
Yeah.
I was given front seat
Awesome.
preferential status. So, and then Jimmy was in the back with Anthony.
Yeah, they were drifting.
Yep,
Playing grid.
Anthony brought the all-day Anthony solution package, travel solution package, and was able to plummet
that
into.
I mimicked from all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were
I-
well, no, you bought it from the all-day Anthony web store.
Yes.
And
yes.
you were able to utilize it though at a great expense in the sense that you could hook it up into the television sets already in the back of the
Correct.
Denali. So you
Yeah.
guys were drifting while Dane and I were listening to a podcast.
Yeah,
we were
pretty slick.
playing Grid Auto Sport on the Nintendo Switch, right? And what was actually great about that is we were able to utilize the HDMI plug-in on the Denali, allowing us to view it from the TV in the back screen
and we were able to listen to a podcast
in the front
broadcast
while
through-
we played.
Yeah, on Bluetooth through the or
That was
through the U-
spooky.
Yeah, it
Pretty,
was
pretty,
great.
Spooky
pretty
podcast.
fantastic. I will say though, playing a racing game in a moving car is
Did you? How
difficult
nauseous did you get?
and will get you extremely sick. So we actually that was very short-lived for a while.
Yeah.
We attempted to play other games, but it just wasn't quite the same.
I
So
do want to point out though, playing Grid Auto Sport on a Wii is way harder than it is on a 360
A Wii?
Xbox back in the day.
we.
Sorry, this is showing my age. Switch. Gosh.
So-
Dane, my Nintendo SP, for example. So getting into this, I will say that one big thing that we enjoyed while we were driving on this road trip was actually listening and watching one of our favorite road trip movies of all time.
Yes.
Yeah, we did that too.
Strange Wilderness.
Yep.
If you haven't seen that, please take a look, but make sure you put your kids to bed before watching it.
It was good. But we drove. So we left Boise about 6 a.m. and then we made a stop in Mountain Home for breakfast.
Yeah.
Then proceeded on. We made it to Twin, and then from Twin we took a right and headed down towards Jackpot. We basically made a right turn into Nevada,
And then
just
it's
drove
just
Yeah.
straight
Straight.
south,
the rest of the
straight
way.
south through Nevada, all the way down.
And I just want to point out for those of you wondering, well, where does Morgan fit into all this? She didn't have to ride in the
yeah,
cars.
Morgan stayed here at the
She was
store.
living life in the lap of luxury, doing what while we were driving?
Great question. I was sleeping in.
Okay.
I was relaxing and mentally preparing myself for what was to come.
Okay. Well, and
So-
then back on the road.
So we're back on the road. We got to Vegas about 3 o'clock.
Hmm.
About right, 3:34.
Sounds about right.
Got into town, made it to our house.
Mhm.
Once we got to the house, we broke into teams.
Well, we discovered the house was an interesting house.
The house was fine. The house was
cool.
It was a 5-bedroom,
funky.
4-bathroom house. I was worried about it because I thought when we did the listing, it only had 3 bathrooms, and I was worried about the 12 of us staying there.
Yeah.
With only 3 bathrooms. So it was a nice surprise to find that there was a 4th bathroom available, although albeit a very odd bathroom.
Yeah.
Yep.
So everything was visible. Basically, you could see right in. There was no door.
This
on
is
the thing.
this is like a late 50s, early 60s, mid-century jet age kind of house.
Dane,
it is very.
Just say it how it is. It was a 70s swinger house.
No,
It was a
see, that's the
70s
problem. Is
swing house.
Anthony doesn't understand
Dane
the
said
ages
it was
of
a jet age,
architecture.
but basically we
Dane.
so we got to the house.
The
Everybody
last
had
time
a
it was
room.
updated in parts was the 70s
Yeah.
for sure. But
Anyway, everybody had a room. That was the point. Anthony and I had a room with Jimmy. Dane was stayed in Morgan's room because she wasn't there yet. She still had 2 or 3 days before.
and they
she
were
got,
tiny little
but there
twin
were
beds.
2 twin beds there.
And Dane alternated between beds each night. So he slept in one the first night, and then he slept in the other.
I stayed in the
second
same one, and I gotta say, it was the most comfortable, miserably sized twin bed I've ever slept in.
They
It was
were nice
actually
beds.
comfortable.
The beds were actually really comfortable.
Yeah.
And then Fraser had a room. Josh and Jeff took Josh and John took the other room with the weird bathroom, so they had their 2 queens. And then Jeff took the bedroom that him and Carolyn would be sleeping in. We've split up teams. Jimmy and I stayed at the house waiting for Freddie to arrive, as well as the HVAC guys, because when we walked in the door, it was probably 75 degrees in
It
Las Vegas,
was so
and our house was
hot
about 80 degrees
in the house.
with the heat on.
And what did we find out was the reason for
So
that?
one side was, so then I walked into Anthony and I in Jimmy's room, and it was 63 degrees, and the AC was on. But everything was locked, so we couldn't change the thermostats. We couldn't do any of
They
that.
were
all
Nest thermostats.
Yeah, they were all Nest
so
thermostats.
digital.
So we called the landlord. He goes, "All right, I got it all set. It's all set to cool. It's unlocked," and they were still pumping heat. So
Yep.
we had to wait for HVAC to get there. Everybody went 2 cars, one group to the grocery store, one group to Costco to pick up the essentials that we needed for the trip. Everybody got back about 6 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
And then we headed, we got everything fixed, everything unpacked, and then we headed to In-N-Out Burger for dinner.
Yep.
It's our first night in Vegas. That's what we do, is hit the In-N-Out. So we did that. Then the next morning, we just kind of came back to the house, hung out for a bit, and then went to bed.
Yeah.
The next day was setup day.
Yeah.
Setup day is very important. We had to get there and just start setting up.
Yep.
So that took most of the day. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we did take a lunch break.
Tacos
Right?
and
We
beer,
went-
naturally.
Yeah, we stopped at tacos and beer, got that, and then we headed back to work to finish setting up while someone did a Home Depot run. I think you guys did that. Did any of you do that or something?
I did not. No.
No.
We
went
went to
back.
Fry's.
Right.
You guys went to
we
Fry's.
did fries. Yep.
Again,
So-
a divide and conquer. You guys went to Fry's,
And-
and then Jeff and Josh, Jeff went to.
I'd like to speak to that for a minute.
My
Home
favorite
Depot.
slowly dying store.
So the
So-
best part. So here's my thing. When I heard that Dane needed to go to Fry's, 2 thoughts popped into my head.
He planned
First.
for this to happen.
First, he planned for this by thereby sabotaging our audio-visual equipment setup.
Yeah.
Turns out I need a very specific AC cable.
Which
and
he
the
had.
only place that has it is.
But he kept touting
Fry's.
it. He kept touting it as, pretty sure I packed that. Pretty sure I had that. I saw it.
Truth,
before.
I did. I did
Pretty
pack
sure.
that
That's kinda
somewhere. I
suspicious.
know I
Right?
did.
I know for a fact that Dane Hennen will find any way possible to get to a Fry's. Earlier in the day, he had said, "I'd love to go to Fry's. I'd love to go to Fry's." And Jeff said, okay, Dane, sure. So when he said, we're eating tacos and beer, and he's like,
Wow.
well, I guess you know who has that? Fry's. And we
It
were like,
hit you.
or
said,
you
I know
could,
what you're doing.
or you could just wait till tonight,
Yeah.
and tomorrow morning go home, find the cable, come back in the morning. We still have like 2 days before the show starts.
Eh.
But Dane said no.
I wanted to
Ah.
make sure that the AV
Let's
system
get this
worked
done
before we got
should
it
take
put
a trip
up.
to Fry's. Who's going with me?
Yeah, and that's
So-
when Anthony volunteered.
That is nice.
Tell us
of
about your
him.
Fry's experience.
So, Fry's is very sad. We walk in there and
Not this dream place that Dane.
I
he would
I
love to
love
die.
fries.
I
Dane would
think-
like to be buried in a Fry's,
I don't know about that.
probably in one of the aisles, shoved
Nope.
in under one of the shelving units.
Don't want that.
So walking into that store, right? We're looking for these particular plugins and things like that.
It's really specific.
And
You're not just going to find one.
I start looking at a lot of these.
But you will at Fry's.
I start looking at a lot of the packaging, right? I'm kind of looking at it, I'm like, man, Dane, a lot of this stuff
How
is like
old is this?
sun faded, right? And there's not even sun inside this building. I'm like, why is this packaging faded? And that's when I start looking at other packaging. Some of the packaging had already been ripped open and taped back together, right?
Right, yeah.
So I'm kind of looking
It's like
at
a
this
very large Radio Shack.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
this stuff's
Radio
looking
Shack.
pretty bad, but they only had one item in stock of each thing, right?
Right, yeah.
So I was like, whatever, right? And so Dane got kind of what he was looking for, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go wander around. I need to go get a pair of controllers for my Nintendo Switch because I left one of my controllers at home.
Yeah.
So I go over to the video game aisle, and I start walking around, and I'm like looking at some of the games, and I'm like, Tomb Raider for PlayStation 1? What? And I start looking down a little bit further. I'm like, Mario Party 4 for GameCube. And I'm like, oh my God, this game section hasn't been updated for 15 years. And I'm looking around like, what is actually happening right now?
Just think of the treasures lurking in there for you
No.
who like retro gaming.
They had...
Someday
had,
you'll find a Dane Hennen shoved
No,
under a cabinet.
They had a game. They had a Game Informer. They had a Game
The
Informer
treasures.
for sale with pricing on it, displayed in its own display for Gauntlet Legacy for GameCube, right? And I'm like sitting here looking at this, like, what in the actual hell is going on here? So I go up to the guy and I say, "Hey, man,
I love this
I
interaction.
said."
This guy.
I go up to this guy. I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm noticing a lot of these games are kind of older, but they're new and retail packaging. Do you guys have, the controllers for Nintendo Switch?" And he's like, "Oh, the Joy-Cons?" I'm like, "Yeah, exactly." He's like, "Oh, I wish."
We'll
And
get
he
him in
was
about
just-
10
he ju-
years.
You could see like just slowly dying light in his eyes where he just got kind of sad and he's just like, it's hard to compete with the internet, man.
Yeah,
And that's
so-
basically, to put it bluntly, that's what Fry's is trying to do, is be the internet, but in person. And they bring a lot of that stuff, even the cheap manufacturers and stuff, and put it on the shelves just to fill up
I just
space.
remember last year Tim had a lot of fun sitting in the
the gamer
So-
chairs and you pull a lever. Whoa!
But so I'm sitting here,
John
I'm
bought
like,
one.
you don't have Joy-Cons, but I'm like looking around, right? They have GameCube controllers. They had PlayStation 2 controllers, right? They had an Xbox 360 section, right?
Awesome.
And I'm looking at this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, like none of this stuff has been updated. And we're walking through, right? I said, you know what? The Apple section, right? They got to have an updated Apple section. Levi, they were still selling wired Apple headphones, right? But that's all they had. They didn't have AirPods. They didn't have the newest generation of AirPods. They didn't have any other thing except for the wired version with the actual headphone jack, not the Thunderbolt or whatever the heck, the Lightning port. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, Dane.
But it's
Box?
impressive because they're still new in the package.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here like, Dane, like this stuff. But then I look
So
at
they call that new old stock in the automotive
and
industry.
I look at the
Yep.
pricing. They're asking $60 for this pair of
Full
headphones.
retail, yeah.
And I'm like, good God, they're never going to sell this stuff.
And that's why they're still there.
And so, but you know what I will say though, right? This is where Anthony benefits, right? We start walking through because we're getting ready to check out, and as we're leaving, we start walking through the candy section, right?
You got candy.
And that's when I start thinking to myself, well, hell, if all this stuff is this old in the store,
Then
these gummy bears got to
that'd
be
be
to
amazing.
Anthony's spec right now.
Oh,
because
So
Anthony is
God.
obsessed with old gummies.
That
So
can't even be legal.
I started feeling like the texture of the gummies, and I'm like, oh God, these are firm, right? These are definitely stale. And I look at Dane, I'm like,
you freaking weirdo.
I'm like, these are the gummies I'm buying right now.
I knew for that
So,
moment you just
I
lit
bought
up.
a,
You're like,
I bought a
yes.
couple bags of these stale gummies, and I was just so pumped. The
I'm
Haribo
sick.
double
I'm
twin
literally
cherries,
sick.
Oh, I love those twin cherries.
as well as some
boy.
some bears. But anyways, so
Yeah.
we end up going to the checkout, right? And I said,
Yeah.
you know, I looked back behind the counter, and they had some like video game boxes and stuff. And I said, hey guys, do you have like back there in that shelving? Do you have like just Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons? It's a pretty simple thing. And they look at me and they're like, no, man, did you see it out there on the floor? And I said, absolutely not. And they said, no, then we definitely don't have it. They're like, right now we're kind of having some stock issues because we're trying to find another supplier because they just keep jacking up the prices. And I'm like, yeah, well, hopefully this is here next year. And so that was pretty much that. But it was
I'm glad they've lasted this long, but they're like the holdouts from like the Ultimate Electronics and Comp USA and Circuit City. Best Buy just transformed into a whole other thing, but they're like the last like old-timey, fun, cool one that I like.
They're not even that old. Like that store is newer. Like
they're newer, but I mean, like I like them in the kind of weird
it's like
region
a nice
they occupy.
new store with a bunch of old stuff in it.
It's like when you walk into an old Rite Aid and you're looking around going, surely none of this is. But that's more of a West Coast thing. On the East Coast, all the Rite Aids are nice, but I mean,
But
whatever.
yeah, so everybody came back. We got the booth done. We were out of the house by, what was it, like, or we were out of the convention center that afternoon
Yeah.
by like 3 o'clock. We got a lot done by like 3 o'clock.
I was
It
really
great.
impressed with how quick setup went, considering.
Yeah. And then
Then it was off to
that was Saturday
LV,
night.
Detailers of LV.
Yeah, so we went, headed straight over to Detailers of Las Vegas. Our friend Justin Day was very gracious.
Shout out, Justin.
And
Is that on Saturday night?
that was Saturday night. We headed over there to
On
wash
Saturday
the car.
night?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
So-
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Freddie met us there. So Freddie was there, and the guys from Clarity Coat, Adam Huber and Justin Woods were there.
And then suddenly, out of nowhere, there's a wild Chris fix appears.
yeah, but Travis McNutt was there, Rob Craven, those guys that
Yeah.
were there. And we all just kind of had a great time hanging out with
It
Justin's
was.
crew.
It was low pressure environment.
So we
It
had
was
both
nice.
cars were there because they both had Clarity Coat on them, and we needed to clean them both up. The Clarity Coat car that was going in the booth, as well as Freddie's Lambo.
This podcast is sponsored by Clarity Coat.
It's
So feel free to check out their website. And
But do feel free
I'm
to
just
check
kidding.
it out.
No.
But it was fun. So we just kind of had an impromptu hangout, and while we were hanging out, like Billy Bogus landed.
Yeah.
Him and his wife walked up. Jason Rose was crashing in the parking lot.
he had his trailer
He brought
out
his
there.
trailer and parked it
He
in
was
the
being sneaky. He was wearing a camo, and he
Yeah.
went behind me and like tapped my shoulder. And I looked
And then
back
he'd run
and-
away, and he's like,
and
tee.
he's like,
oh,
Yeah.
tee. I'm like,
Freaking
I
Jason.
see you, Jason. You're
Yeah.
right behind that little pole there.
You're not as
Yep.
hidden as you
So it
think
was fun.
you are,
Jason.
bud.
So Jason posted up his trailer in his RV in Justin's parking lot.
Yep.
And then friend of the program, Kyle Camus, was also there,
Mhm.
crashing with Jason.
Yeah,
The two of them had come up.
great
from,
guy.
from
Look like Kyle. a
Denver.
lot, Yeah.
Good people.
And so we kind of just had an impromptu party. It was a lot of fun. And then
Yeah.
that's when Chris Fix showed up
Mm-hmm.
to hang out and see what was going on.
He had
And
a wide body Hellcat Charger, which was pretty cool.
that was dope.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so just kind of had a weird impromptu car wash party where we washed
Yeah.
the cars, polished the cars. Some guys were throwing down on the Clarity
But
Coat.
it
Needed
also
a lot
gave
of
us a
polishing
chance to
still.
use like the newer products and
Yeah,
show them
well,
off.
we had all
while
the
were
Wolos products. We
using them on
washed the Lambo with the detailer shampoo. We put Malo wax on it. We wiped it down with some quick detailer too.
Yeah.
We were able to wash and clay the car, get it looking all sharp. And I had to polish a couple spots.
Yeah.
Nothing major, but just a couple spots where the Clarity Coat Porsche, it wasn't ready yet. They were working on it. For
Yeah,
a while.
that one was the one that was going to take some more work.
Yeah, so we finished. It was about 10 o'clock. We got done with the car. Car was good. And then we told him we'd see him in the morning, 9 a.m. Sunday morning,
Yeah.
because we were going to try and get the car in early Sunday morning so we could be done. And so went to sleep, woke up the next morning, headed straight over to Detailers of Las Vegas. Me, Jeff, Fraser, and Anthony. You guys headed to the convention center.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else? So, Anthony, when we pulled the Lambo out,
Yeah.
what'd you do?
So we pulled the Lambo out. It was actually pretty cool. We're talking about Sunday morning, right?
Sunday morning, you hopped in that Lamborghini.
So I hopped in. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Basically,
I'll have
Freddie-
Tim include video footage from this so they can hear it too.
Tim's like, no. So
Please, Tim.
I jumped in the car with Freddie, and the goal was to make it to the convention center
Yeah.
in one piece, right? Get
Right.
the car there because obviously this has built up a lot of stress. I can tell Freddie was like, I'm not that stressed. It was more the idea of we're driving through Vegas during a very busy time, and we don't know Vegas that well.
People
and we're just,
don't drive nice there.
And we're
And a
just
put it
Sunday
that way.
morning at 9 or 10 in the morning
Yeah.
is probably the best time
Oh yeah.
to drive that bright orange Lamborghini through Vegas.
That's why
Yeah.
you don't wait
'Cause
till Monday
it was a
to
15-minute drive.
take a car to the
Yeah,
show.
and so we jumped in the car and started getting on the road, and I can kind of tell, like, looking over at Freddie, I'm like, you know, are you excited? I'm like on camera, like, what do you think? And he's just like, oh yeah, this is good. I think he's just thinking how much I have riding on this and how he needs to get that car to the show safely. That was
Yeah.
kind of going through his head. So, the car sounded incredible. That
Yeah.
exhaust he put on was insane.
I think
Oh,
it's
it
a
sounded-
Fab Speed, right? The F1 sounding exhaust.
Yeah,
so
something like
crazy.
that. And we got on it just a couple times, right? But inside the car, the experience in terms of like where that car came from and what it was and what it is now, you would never know it had any of those.
That it was just totally
you never know it had
haggard.
a cage in it. You never know that it was haggard. It literally felt like a new car in there. I mean, everything was so pristine. It was pretty crazy. And so we got on it a couple times, opened it up a little bit, and the gated shifter sounds so awesome, clicking into gear there.
Yep.
And all the electronics and everything worked, which was super cool. And seeing those vents pop up in the back,
the wings,
the little wings, is just super wicked. But I was trying to video and see other people's reactions to the car because this was breaking necks. I mean, people are driving up and they're looking like, "What the heck is that?"
No matter what, you're gonna look at an orange Lamborghini.
Oh
You
yeah,
just will.
There's no denying it. And so you guys drove alongside us, and you guys were getting some video, and you could hear it from a football field away.
The footage I was getting was insane in audio quality. I was very confused and worried that it was going to sound horrible, but it came out so good.
That little Osmo Pocket does work.
It sounded really, really good.
That thing did and that was even with sticking it out the window while we were driving like 45, 50 miles an hour
impressive.
trying to keep up.
Yeah, and so the drive went smoothly. It was just really funny because basically, I had told Freddie, he's like, "So do you know exactly where to go?" And I'm like, "I have a good idea."
That's not a yes.
But like, here's the deal. SEMA is organized, but it's unorganizedly organized.
It's organized at the top, and then as you go further layers down, people seem to care less and less.
Yeah, so it was like, I was like, hey, we're going to get it into the show no matter what, right? But it's a matter of if we have to go a couple of times around the block in circles to try to get into this area. But we went through kind of the back way, which last year we went through the front way. So we went through like this back entrance where there's like an alleyway. And I said, okay, this is where we're going to try to sneak through. We're going to drive it up this alley. Granted, there's no traffic coming the other way.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to go through the side to get it into the pavilion. But we pull up and the security guard's there. So I get out and I walk over to him. I'm like, hey, man, so we're just going to sneak down this alleyway if that's cool with you. And he kind of like looks at me, kind of like,
what do you think you're doing?
What's your plan, type of thing. So I was like sitting there, I'm like, okay, I need to build this up. So I'm like, so this is this car, that Lamborghini over there. That's the car from the Fast and Furious movie, the one that Tyrese drove across the ice. And he like looks at it, and I'm like, like the orange Lambo, the $1 million show car, right? And he's like, and he looks at me, he's like that's the actual car that was in the movie. And I'm like, yes, this was the actual car that was in the movie. That's it.
The one they drove on the ice in those scenes. That's that car.
That's the one. And he was like, kind of gives me that look like, really? And I'm like, I'm serious. That's it. And he was just like, wow, that's amazing. And so I was like, cool. So we're going to drive down this. And he was just like, yeah, man, do what you got to do. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I jump in, we drive it down the alleyway, and we pull it into the queue to where before it goes in. But immediately right when we started pulling it up, man, people's phones were coming out. People are already like, holy crap, this is that car. And most people didn't know that it was necessarily didn't necessarily know it was the Fast and Furious car, but they knew it was Tavares's car, or they knew that it was something special. So, yeah, we walked it into the booth. So I had to get out. This was the stressful thing. I'm filming, but I'm still trying to guide him through all of the craziness that is that hall, because the carpets are everywhere. There's still pallets, nails, you name it.
There's a lot of stuff laying
There's
around.
just stuff.
Yeah, you got a clear path.
But we ended up getting it in, and
that was awesome. And we were done by like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Everything was set, and we were like, "Car's
That's
up, and, like booth is up, walls are up, products have been set up, secured, car's done." And we're like, "Well, it's basically lunchtime." And then they walk through with free lunch.
Yeah. Well, gang, time to go for a walk.
Yeah.
So that's when we had some sandwiches, and we just started walking around the halls, and we went through everything. We went through Central, North, South.
Lynn said hi to Scott at Koenig.
Said hi to Scott at Koenig.
Saw the Scooby-Doo monster truck.
Yeah. So
Which Freddie was very curious about the mechanics of monster
very
trucks.
excited about
he kept
monster
asking,
trucks.
and all I could think was, I have a hunch I know where your next project, maybe another year or two down the road, might be.
Buy himself a monster truck.
I mean,
jump
or
it.
make his own insane version of one. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty adventurous.
So then we went wandering around, and that was pretty easy of a day.
yeah.
Pretty light. But then that was really like that night we had dinner. So we finished our day out. We all headed back to the house. We had dinner with our friends at Lake Country.
Yeah.
It's kind of our little like annual dinner that we all have with them. Hang out with the team from Lake Country. That was really great. Appreciate it, guys. That was nice of you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Then we met up with Fraser at the restaurant at the end, and we were like, well, let's go grab a drink and hang out. And that didn't happen because there was really no place to go grab a drink because we had Jimmy with us who's underage. And at that time of night, they were already starting to card regardless. Like, they wouldn't even let him be. So then we thought, you know what, let's just go home. So we headed home, and then this was the first day. Monday was our only sleep-in day we got to have.
Yeah.
Where we actually got to sleep in.
Enjoy the weather, get out there, stick our feet in the pool.
Yeah.
Because actually, if you remember, Monday morning
frigid pool
was the morning that we woke up, and Fraser, or was it Jeff that said, or I think it was Fraser said, I'll give you $50 if somebody jumps in, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh no, nobody's gonna jump in for $50.
I filmed it.
John in his actual sweats and t-shirt says, I'll jump in. We're like, no way. Like, it's freezing. That water is so freaking cold. He's like, nope, I'm going to do it. He goes out there, jumps on the diving board, cannonballs in the look of his face when he came up from that water, right?
It was
pure shock.
It looked like, I would imagine, like somebody in the Titanic would have felt, in that icy water coming up from the depths. But he looked just terrified and swam to the side, jumps out, he runs straight into the shower.
Not doing that again.
So, but I think he made $50.
I have video proof, though, that he did it. So good on you, John, operations manager, doing irresponsible things for such a responsible guy.
I was in the shower, and I had the window open, and you could hear everybody cheer. Splash, and I was like, somebody jumped in the pool. I don't know who, but somebody actually did.
And it's different when you're going in the morning like that. It's way colder than going in the middle of the afternoon or something.
Yeah, but we hung out, and then we headed to the convention center about 11, 10:30, 11. And we basically did that, and we had until 1 o'clock. We figured we could wander the convention center from 10 to 1. So we did. Wandered around, said hi to everybody, shook hands, all that good stuff. Then we headed back to do tacos and beer one more time.
Yep.
We try to do 2 or 3 times when we're there because it's so good. We ate, and then we had to head back home because, in the words of Jeff, we got to clean the house because the girls are coming.
Oh, my God.
So don't want to look like we left a mess.
So we did. We headed back to the house, and we started cleaning up. I was really tired for some reason, but I stayed up.
You took a nap, didn't you?
I did. I slept till about 3, or I stayed up until I was awake, and then Morgan and Carolyn showed up. We gave them the kind of tour of the house, all that stuff, and then I went and laid down before we went to dinner because I couldn't function.
Yeah.
And I think we ordered pizza that night.
Oh.
And what did we do?
That was the previous night.
We did order
we got
pizza.
Cafe Zupas.
So we went to Cafe Zupas. That's right.
Yeah.
So we went to Zupas on Sunday night or Monday night.
Dane had a pain in his stomach.
That's right.
From the food.
Yeah, which harkened back to that pain I felt after our radical experience over at the Serum Summit, which I was like, oh no, it better not be that again. But then I didn't experience it the rest of the trip. I was like, oh, it's just reminding me it's there, so I got to be careful.
But that was
Can't
good.
lift heavy things.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So we went to Cafe Zupas, came back to the house. I think we played cards.
We played cards and hung
poker.
out. Oh, we did that with Andrew too on Sunday night. He went back to our house and we played cards with him that night too.
Played some poker, hung out, and it was just we were. I wouldn't say we were tired, but we had been going all weekend.
Well, and that night was like we all had to be up early.
Yeah.
Tuesday morning, we all had to be out the door by 6:30. I think is what we said.
Because that's showtime when you get to the place at 9. It opens, but
we basically had to be there. We got there by 7 so that we could walk to go to the new products breakfast and be there before 7:30.
Which we'll have you know is on the opposite side of the building from where we're at.
Side. So that night we tried to keep it pretty light. Everybody was kind of in bed by 10 or so, 11, because we all had to wake up early.
Yeah.
But we were able to get 12 people in vehicles and out the door by 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m., which was pretty impressive.
It was.
And then get to our parking space, park the cars, walk, finish, get stuff that we needed, and then all of us go to the breakfast, and then all of us head back. To the convention because the breakfast ended at 8:30 and the show started at 9.
Yeah.
So we had to get back to our booth before 9 a.m.
You wouldn't think it'd be difficult to get there in half an hour, but when suddenly you're there and there
Well,
are lines of people
so you
out
gotta
the door
remember,
everywhere you look.
Total
It's
badges
a little more challenging.
is about 165,000 people over the course of 4 days attend this show.
Oh.
So you have 165,000 people descend upon this one area at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday morning.
A little crowded.
Close to maybe
A little
100,000 at that point.
Yeah.
But it's packed. And so it was a little tougher to get back. But we made it, and then the show started, and that Tuesday went by very fast.
Yeah, it disappeared.
We were busy.
Very quickly. And yeah, we were immediately, we had more people coming through the booth than we had last year's Monday.
Yeah, or Tuesday.
Tuesday, sorry. It felt good knowing that right off the bat we were having even more traffic than the previous year. That's always a good sign. But what we know from experience is Tuesday, the first day of the show, when you're out in the tents like we are, like in the pavilion, it's usually going to be your slower day out of the whole bunch of days that you're going to be doing this, because on the first day of the show, everybody likes to pop into the Central Hall, the North Hall. They want to see the stuff that's new,
The
that
Central
like
primarily,
everybody knows about, like, oh, this new
well,
build
the
I've been waiting to see.
Central Hall has a lot of the reveals, has a lot of the appearances and things like that.
I mean, it's
of all
where
the
Ford
celebrity-
and Chevy and all those places are. That's where the celebrity stuff happens. That is the focus on the first day. People are going there. And frankly, if you're there, you could spend the entire day just in that one hall and not see everything. So it's not particularly surprising that people don't make their way out to the other halls yet. But
we still had a ton of people stop
we know
by.
from experience that, wow, okay, if we have this many people now, what's Wednesday or Thursday going to be like?
Yeah, what did you think, Morgan, of Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday,
How was your...
I was kind of like, oh, it's not that bad, because it wasn't. Tuesday wasn't that bad, but then you guys were saying, like,
Don't worry,
and it made
Wednesday's busier.
sense. Yeah, it made sense because probably most people want to get like the big main stuff out of the way, and then they have kind of free time to float and run around and do what they want the last couple days. So it made more sense that people would want to start at the main attractions and then work their way towards us. So I was kind of like, still trying to take everything in on Tuesday, which I'm glad it was like that, because if it was like super busy the first day and then died down, I probably wouldn't have been able to like figure out how everything
Sure.
worked.
Yeah, it's more of a warm-up.
Yeah.
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 But you got to get your drifting in and stuff on that day, so that made it fun.
That
Kind
was a
of
good
get
kickoff.
you calibrated for the
Yeah.
experience of SEMA, which was cool.
Yeah.
But if you hadn't gone when you did, you would have missed out after that, because there's no way you would have been able to go out
I
and
think
do
so.
that.
I think
But it was nice, like with the number of people we brought this year.
We had plenty of people. in the
It
booth.
was great to be able to send people off, let them do their thing, and then have a core group stay at the booth, keep
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
This year, I did not leave the booth once, other than the time we went out to Scott at Koenig on Friday and just that basic stuff. The only time I ever saw anything else in the entire show was when we did our walks during the setup days. I just stayed in the booth the entire time
I
otherwise.
didn't know that,
'cause-
Dane.
Yeah, I didn't leave once. I didn't see anything else at the show this year, and I still stayed busy the whole time. That kind of tells you how busy
Yeah.
it was. But part of it was I wanted to stick around the booth because I knew
Well, you got a
not
lot
everybody,
of traction. Yeah.
not everybody who's there recognizes, this YouTube celebrity, this
Yeah.
whatever, people walking by.
Did we
like,
have a lot of YouTube celebrities stop by?
Yeah,
I
we
don't
kind of,
think so.
we kind of had.
Pretty
a
sure
few.
we didn't.
our
nobody
car-
saw the
I don't
car.
think
No.
anyone cool came
Yeah,
out.
no. See, I recognize tons of people, and I'm like, that's blah blah blah, and people are like, who, what? Like, I thought Jimmy or Morgan would know, and I'm like, oh, you don't know who these people are either? Oh crap. Okay, so I'm alone in this.
So who stopped by over the course of the week? If you could name off everybody, just
Yeah.
for the fans listening at home.
Okay, so
We had
let's
Chris
put it
Fix
in
the first
perspective.
day at
We met
DK's
Chris
Las
Fix
Vegas.
before we even got to the booth.
How many
but he,
subscribers does he have on YouTube?
I think he's what, 5
5
Thousand.
total?
million?
100.
500
5
subscribers?
million.
Correct.
5 million? Okay.
So
Something
it's
like that.
healthy.
How many does Freddie have?
Healthy.
Freddie is just under 1 million.
Okay.
And
So
once again, guys, it's not like size, quantity, whatever. Like, we're just throwing it out there
It's not
because
the size of the person that matters.
when-
It's how they use it.
I
when
saw
you're
Aldi
somebody
Anthony
who
there.
took, I know
all day
it's weird,
Anthony
right?
stopped by. How many subscribers do you have? About 40?
Yeah, about 40.
It was
40,000?
crazy. I
Nice.
was like,
So,
guys.
I just want to
Yeah.
put it in perspective how exciting it is. Like, you watch these people's channels and stuff, and I get not everybody cares about YouTube, but for like people who just watch and like, oh, I thought it was really cool the way this person
Yeah.
built up they're following their audience
So
and
who
did
else?
these things.
Who else?
Okay, so we had Chris Fix, we had the straight pipes, we had
okay.
Shmee 150,
What?
we had basically, I mean, we had all the
Sarah
usual
and
people.
Tuned.
We had Sarah and Tuned, we had Vehicle Virgins, we had, I mean, there were a number
Daily
of people.
Driven Exotics.
Rich's Rebuilds, we had Daily Driven Exotics, we had
Rutledge Wood.
Yeah, Rutledge came by. That was super cool. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I'm glad you guys caught him and got to chat a bit. I was
He
super
knew my name.
That's cool.
He knew my name.
That's cool.
Levi from the rag company?
Yeah. I said, Rutledge, like waved him down, and he's like, Levi.
Wow.
And
You
I was
just have
like,
one of those faces,
"Huh."
and you're like, whoa, you know who I am.
It's like, he knows who I am.
Wow.
That's cool.
Pretty crazy. We took a picture.
Jonathan Ward of Icon.
Jonathan Ward
naturally.
stopped by, said the same thing. Levi. Then he asked for some towel scraps.
Yeah.
He's like, send me everything you got. And I was like, all right.
He's just cool. I like his taste and things.
He
But
wants to
then-
use them for fabrics.
That's
He wants
funny.
to play with some
man.
microfiber for different fabrics for clothes.
Do like headliners or clothes?
Well,
Oh,
he's
man.
making his own clothing line now
That's right, because he
by
can't.
hand.
Dude's crazy, but in a great way.
Bag
So
lining. He's doing all kinds of stuff. So.
That's rad. Well, I mean, there are obviously more, but those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head that would immediately jump out. There were plenty of others. So Stradman, we had Summit Auto Lab, we had
PewDiePie.
what?
Awesome.
No.
You didn't see him?
No.
Well, Casey Neistat came the next day, which was crazy.
Okay, now we're blowing smoke.
And then Supercar Blondie. And then we had, maybe those
Those
last
people
three
didn't
didn't
show
actually
up.
come. But that dude in blue, David Patterson, stopped
David
by.
Patterson stopped
Oh no,
by.
he was excited to see because he was hanging out with us the first year we were there,
Yeah.
and I think he noticed how our booth and everything had grown
Who else?
too.
Matt from Obsessed Garage. He
Matt from
stopped by.
Obsessed Garage.
Stopped
What
by.
are the odds that he would turn up for
was
something
nice.
like
My
that?
friend
for
Larry
us?
stopped by.
Larry hung
Casella?
around the booth a long while.
Lawrence,
actually.
Lawrence Casella.
Lawrence Casilli, yes.
Larry. He showed
Larry.
up.
I mean, that's how you say his name. So, yeah, he hung around. We had a lot of different people come around, but it was super cool just being able to chat with everybody. And I was really interested when somebody would come by and they like do the stealth, like drop in, see what's going
they'd
on.
sneak
and
by.
turns out they were like from another company, like, oh, I'm spying. It's like you can just say hi.
It was
It's
fun because
okay.
we actually did get a couple
Right
spies,
here, we
which
don't
was fun.
we don't bite like after you
was nice.
scan badges and you realize like, oh, that person's with that company. They never said a word.
Well,
okay.
one of the spies that came by, I threw pocket sand at him, right? And I yelled, and then the other guy was, I yelled purple soda.
No.
And no, I'm just kidding. That
Like a
didn't
can of
happen at all.
purple.
Yeah, purple soda. Yeah, that didn't happen. No, we were trying to greet literally every single person that came into that booth, and
We said hello.
And it was funny because all the other booths saw that we brought so much of our TRC crew, and they said, "Wow,
that's right. Yeah.
you brought an army with you." And we said,
did.
"We brought enough that we think that we'll be able to handle, what the questions that we're going to have, and still allow a couple people to go off and do media stuff."
Well, what we forgot to say was Sunday night, Robbie,
Yes.
who's the operations manager for Wolos, flew in from Scotland.
Yes.
So Fraser came in a couple days before.
We didn't
and
really
drove
see
down with
Robbie
us.
until the following morning
But
because
Robbie
as soon as he
landed
arrived, he just
Sunday night
fell
while we
asleep.
were at dinner,
yeah.
and he just went to bed. He was
Yeah.
like, "I'm going to bed." So we saw him the next morning.
because he's all turned
Uh,
around because
yeah.
of the time change.
So we saw him the next morning. So he got to do the Monday walk around with us.
Yeah.
He got to spend Monday evening at Cafe Zupa's with us, and then
Robbie's great.
yeah, spend the day at the show. So Tuesday night, we went home. Right?
And
we didn't have a
You
didn't
wanna-
have a party.
You
What
want to
did
know
we
what
do?
we did Tuesday night?
What did we do?
We went to the Mexican restaurant.
Oh,
of
that's
Mexican
right.
restaurants.
Oh, there's a
I
story.
forgot about that.
There's a story about how we ended up there because
All right.
it's hilarious. The
Yeah.
order of events.
So here's the deal.
Lead us
Tuesday
through
night.
it.
Tuesday night we went to dinner. We're leaving the show. Consensus is Mexican food. Everybody says, "All right, what do we got to do tonight?" Well, we have the Detailers of Las Vegas event that we had to go to. Someone had to show up, and we also had to pick up some business cards that we'd ship to Justin's
It's not
place.
a burden. It was nice to go.
Not a burden. We love Justin, but we had to go. That was on the list. Like,
And it was a
needed to be
really
done.
good turnout there, by the way. This year.
So, but we were all exhausted. It was a very long day, and we needed to eat. So at this point, we'd all been up for about 12 hours.
Yeah.
I put in my GPS. I find us a Mexican restaurant that was 5 stars. And I was like, oh, very nice. We get to the place. Turns out it's actually just a bar.
Yeah.
So they have
a dance hall.
some little finger food stuff,
Yeah.
and that's it.
So we're like,
And we're
okay.
looking, going, we got Jimmy in the car
Yeah,
here.
so we're like, gosh dang it. And then we look next door, and there's a restaurant sitting right next door.
but we
a
didn't
proper
even
Mexican
know it was
restaurant.
there based on the map. It was literally we're looking, going,
Yeah, it
okay,
wasn't on
we
my
can't
app.
take Jimmy in here.
Yeah.
He's 18. He can't go into a bar.
So we go to the restaurant next door. We walk in. We are literally the only people in there next to some other workers and people that had just gotten off, and we're hanging out.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay. And it is loud.
It's so
They
loud.
have the
Everything
speakers
is loud.
cranked. There's
they had
mariachi singing.
Yeah, they had a
and
live
the-
singer.
Going.
they had TVs going. They had the mariachi man singing. They had a guy walking around with a little accordion playing that. I mean, it was like the quintessential, like, we're south of the border having some dinner.
You felt home with
I
your,
did
with
feel
your
at home.
8%.
Yeah. My 8% Mexican was back in action.
Unless you understand
then we
Spanish,
sat-
you're looking at that menu and you're just...
Well, so then we sat down, right? And I'm like, this is insane. Like, this is crazy. And I'm like, I feel bad because I was the navigator for this place. So I'm like, okay, here we go.
But they let us all go in, and that was the important part.
So we went around the horn. Everybody ordered their drinks.
Uh-huh.
I asked them if they had Pepsi. She said, no, we have Coke. I said, well, then I guess I'll take one of those, I guess. And Dane, what did you order?
I ordered a margarita, a mango margarita.
Anthony, what did you order?
I ordered a lime margarita.
Okay. Morgan?
I got a pineapple margarita.
Okay. When those margaritas came, how big were they?
We had no frame.
How many ounces do
We
you
had
I think
no
it was
frame
as
of
big as
reference.
Dane's head.
Yeah, vessel
I do
size.
have a big head. It's true.
I'm going to say that the cups on the current table right now, Dane, your water bottle, and Morgan, your water cup, could not contain the amount of margarita that
there
was
was
in
more
those.
fluid space,
Those were
volume,
probably
space
40-ounce
available.
punch bowls
Yeah.
that you guys were drinking out of.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
what else was in there? Umbrellas.
Oh my gosh, there was
there was
a
a
chili stick,
stick,
There was a
chili
there
stick,
was a
chili powder on it.
stick. Yeah.
What else was in there? Flour?
Flour.
Edible
There
flour.
were decorative
Limes.
flowers.
There was
Yes.
limes.
Apparently they're
limes.
edible.
And
You had
fruit.
what salt did you have
There was
around
real
your
fruit
room?
in mine.
There were
I
fruit
had
in
a
yours?
tahine, with my personal favorite type of seasoning salt for all of my Hispanic foods.
They put sugar on mine,
Okay.
which was an
Nice.
interesting twist.
Now-
Impressive.
So then the other guys ordered a
So
beer.
John and Josh ordered some beers.
Yeah, and they
Jeff
ordered,
and Carolyn got margaritas. Jimmy ordered a lemonade.
Oh yeah, just,
what did he
just
get?
a lemonade.
He got 40 ounces of lemonade,
got a lemonade
in a beer
this
stein.
big.
In a beer stein, right?
Yeah,
And I was like, wow.
Everything was
So I'm waiting.
comically oversized.
So I'm waiting. I'm like,
and these
man,
are the
this soda's
normal
going to be
sizes.
big. This will be great. Mine was an 8-ounce little
was just
tiny
a
baby
regular-
bottle.
you just
That was
get that-
smaller than this.
Smaller
Smaller
than
than
that.
It was
you
a
get
baby
a classic
bottle.
Mexican Coke bottle.
No, not even classic. It was half the size of a classic bottle.
Yeah.
So I was like, looking around. John and Josh's beers showed up. 40
They were
ounce
the size of that
Pacificos.
IK sprayer
yeah,
over there.
they were 40s.
IK sprayers of Pacifico beer dropped off, and I was like, how did I get the smallest drink out of all of you guys?
And anybody who pays any attention to us knows that when you have your Pepsi, you tend to have it in large amounts.
Oh, I tell the waiter to keep them coming.
So when you look
Like,
at
don't
the
let that
table,
bottom get
it
dry.
all looks backwards.
Right. So I'm like, okay, I don't
But-
know how any of us are getting home.
To our server's credit, she was fantastic. She
was
did
great.
a great job
She did a
going
good
through
job.
this stuff.
Yep.
It was just
So then
hilarious
so
how
I got-
oppressive
oh.
everything was.
But at the same time, so we're like, holy crap, look at these drinks. And then at the same time, we have the music. Just
Yeah.
loud,
Blaring.
plowing, like just so
bumping
noisy.
and so high treble, like
Yes.
really sharp in your ear. And the guy singing was, I'm sorry, he was tone deaf.
So I took a video. I'm going to play some of this for you about the.
We're going to get copyright struck
no.
for some obscure.
We'll be all right. But anyway, it was so noisy that night. And after a whole day in SEMA, like the visual overload of everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's like lots
and
of
the
lights
noise
going on in this
and everything,
place.
I was like, "This is not the place to relax at all."
I could see
now
your
on
face, and
edge.
you're just like, mhm.
Oh, I was hurting.
But there was a part of you in the back of your brain. You
No.
knew you're like, I'm talking about this on the
I was
podcast.
like, we have to experience
talking
this.
about this.
So then I asked the waitress. I said, "Do you have a fountain back there of soda?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Can I just get a glass with like of soda?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, okay."
Rather than using up a bottle.
Tiny little bottle, and she had that the whole time. She didn't even ask, "Do you
No.
want it in a bottle or a glass?" Well, I'd love a glass. That'd be great.
No, why
So
would
she
you
brought me
want
like a
that?
larger glass with soda finally. Then she placed all our menus out there.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any problems reading those menus? Because they were all in Spanish.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, they were entirely in Spanish, and we didn't receive like our menus to order food, or rather, we didn't have a chance to order food until it was almost 45 minutes in. I'm just laughing because it's so ridiculous. The entire environment of this place was absurd. And your face through it all was just, yeah. So
Hold on, I got
I'll probably
another one
have
here.
Tim play some of these videos for the audience. Oh my God. Hey, it's Tone Deaf guy.
He was good.
He had spirit. He had moxie. He did not have pitch or tune.
He was killing it.
This was
Yeah,
just a guy. That
But
was
but what made it
Participant.
weirder was that
Participant.
sometimes he would sing and he seemed like he's the professional here, he's singing. But then sometimes it would just turn into open mic night and he'd take the mic and just hand it down to one of the occupants at the seats
I
and
thought
be
we
like,
got
"All right,
caught
your
up
turn."
in some sort of karaoke night.
Yeah, it was.
That's
And
what it
that the
felt
mic
like.
was going to get passed down, and eventually it was going to come
But then
to
it
one
kept
of
going
us.
back to him like he wasn't emceeing though. He was just literally singing, and then maybe every 2 or 3 songs he'd go and hand it to somebody. It's like, what is this?
So all of us are just like dying laughing because of
It's
all
so
the
ridiculous.
massive amounts of alcohol you guys had to drink.
Yeah.
It was
The
hilarious.
fact that we were all sitting there, the noise, the lights, like there was neon lights next to us as well as TVs.
they were old school neon. They
like,
were
yeah, they were bright. And then we all placed our order, right?
45 minutes in, I think.
45 minutes in, we
Yeah.
place our order for food. Food comes out,
Yep.
massive portions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive amounts.
And most of you guys
portions.
got the same thing because you
And
didn't
the
dare
food was
venture down
good.
the menu. You're like, I'm just going to go with what I know.
Dane,
the food
it's
was
SEMA
great.
week. I cannot take any risk with any
Yeah.
food.
You know me. I'm
Yeah.
adventurous.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was spicy. I'll put it that way.
But I got carne asada. He got carne asada. Anthony did.
Delicious.
Morgan, what'd you get?
Carne asada.
Yeah, we all got basically carne asada, either in a burrito form or just carne asada.
I got tacos enchilados.
Yeah.
Dane
So
was going to be a chimichanga kind of guy.
he was looking
Love
for
those
it.
chimneys. And I was like, there's got to be like, I know enough Spanish to like work my way into figuring out what's there, but at the same time, I was not finding true enchiladas anywhere
Yeah.
until I got way down the line. I was like, well, that's going to be it. Turns out they were close, not quite, but close enough for my taste. It was less Tex-Mex and more like really authentic, like Mexican type setup. So it was cool. If you've been to Mexico, you know that it's different than Tex-Mex. So
Oh, yeah.
it
No,
was good though.
It was
good.
really good. The food was amazing.
Like, I would give the restaurant high praise, but I would warn anybody before going there, like, just know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. It's funny,
but
though.
If somebody would have gotten shot or stabbed at the restaurant, I probably wouldn't have worried about it either because it was just that rowdy. It was very rowdy.
It was
great place,
interesting.
but great place. Then we all got in the cars and headed back to the house.
Yeah.
And we were like, all right, let's get ready for the party. Let's all go. Anthony, did you go in and get dressed and changed and ready to go for the Detailers Las Vegas party?
Absolutely not. So I was pretty much dead.
Yep.
That margarita didn't do anything to me necessarily. The amount of food I ingested physically was killing me.
It was like a lead
Yeah.
cannonball in your gut.
I was like, dude, I don't feel well for the amount of weight that I have in me right now from all this food.
You're just sloshing around.
so I'm
everywhere
like,
you
dude,
go.
I need to go lay down. And
Morgan,
so,
how'd you feel? You ready to rock the Detailers Las Vegas party
I
Tuesday
also
night?
was not fond of that idea.
Yeah.
Definitely was not fond. I couldn't even really eat that much because of the amount of
Alcohol you
space
drank.
that the margarita took up. My stomach is not that big, so the fact that I finished it, first off, was already surprising to me. But like I said, we didn't have food for 45 minutes, so I just,
Yeah.
I'm
It was a
sipping
punch
on it.
bowl.
It's like, this is all you can do. And then all of a sudden we get a burrito and I get 3 or 4 bites and I'm like, wait a second. But I finished
Yeah.
a freaking gallon-sized margarita, so
Yeah, so Morgan was in no shape to be able to travel. Dane, did you get ready for the Detailers Las Vegas party?
I rallied because
You
that's
did.
what you do. And I
Yep.
said, we're going to the party. We're going to have a good time. Who's with me? And I had 2 people say yes.
Me and
So
John.
You and John came with me.
We were
got
ready
us
to
there.
rock.
And I just want to put out the disclaimer. I drank lots of water. And no, I did not have a lot of booze. That's a bad idea. Never drink and drive.
So we got in the car, headed up there. Everybody else stayed home.
Yeah, no, everybody was
There's
just
12 of
passed
us.
out.
But at that house, and
I
3
knew.
of
I
us
was like,
went to the party
do it.
because it literally, that Mexican restaurant wiped out the entire
Half of
TRC
the
team.
Here.
It
just
did. They're
picking
all
us
they're
to
all
order
in.
a
Handedly.
drink was my biggest.
You were all in food comas
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
totally tuckered out. So
And
that's
it was,
okay.
It was
We
the
understood.
early morning. It was a super early morning.
And we knew
Yeah.
we'd have an early morning.
You got to
to
remember,
follow.
we were already, everybody was already right
Wiped
at the
out.
12-hour mark
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then had to ingest all this food
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
alcohol.
Yeah.
And by the time we made it home, everyone was hitting that 16-hour part where they were like,
Not physically.
I should probably go to
there
bed,
anymore.
but I want to stay up for
Yeah.
maybe another hour or 2, but I'm also
Well,
really tired.
And to put it in perspective on SEMA days, if you don't go out and get your own lunch sometime during the day, you're
You
just
don't
not
eat.
eating. You don't
Yeah,
eat.
which we
So
didn't do.
we just had a big empty gap where basically it was like my editing mode where you don't eat all day, and then at the end of the day you have one big meal and that's it.
Yeah, it was
So,
a toxic thing
that
to do,
was-
and I don't know how you do it, but.
Well, that's how
No.
you get great shape like
Dane's
me.
like, that's how you stretch out
So-
that stomach.
Ooh.
But we made it to the Detailers of the Las Vegas party. It was awesome. Justin
Yeah.
and Hillary put on a great party.
Yes.
I heard. Yeah.
We had a lot
We
of
saw
fun.
all the people you want to
Saw
see.
everybody
there.
we wanted to see. Spent a great, we spent about an hour and a half there,
Yeah.
just mingling, saying hi, talking.
Shout
Yeah.
out Brian Rose.
Yep. Saw some of the detailed review crew. Got
Yeah.
to see the Amstutz siblings, Daniela and Wills.
Larry was there too.
Larry Casilla was there. We got to
Jason.
Jason Rose was there. Paul Weidler was there from Rupes. Lots of people in the industry. It was really
Ian.
fun. Ian from Auto Fiber. Billy Bogus from American Detailer Garage
Mhm.
was there. Jace was there. Tons of
Yeah.
fun people were all there. We all had a really great time.
Yeah.
Hanging out. Rod and Jody from Zenware were there. Got to talk to Con.
It's nice to
he's-
catch up.
Yeah, fan of the program. Got to hang out with Con for a while. That was good. And then we left.
Yeah, we stayed
John and I
there.
mostly hung out with
About an
Travis
hour.
McNutt and
Yeah.
Sky.
Mhm.
We hung out with the two of them and then finally made our way out the door, said bye to everybody. But we left, headed back to the house, went to bed. Then the next morning, it was a 9 a.m. We had to be in the cars by like 7. I think we were saying 7:30 was our 7:40 was our plan.
Well, before we get to that, on the way home from the party, though, we ran into a blockade
Oh, that's
on the road.
right.
Remember that?
So we were driving home, and there was a drunk driver pinballing cars along the freeway.
No joke. Must have hit
Legit
like
pinball
15
15
cars.
cars on the side of the road.
and it was just cop
Cops
after cop
chasing
pulling
him.
all these people over, just like, you got hit, stay here. We're gonna catch this guy.
Yeah.
And then as we're driving, they
Wow.
race ahead of us, and we're like, "Whoa, what
They
is
legit
going?"
stopped him, pulled him out of the car in front of us.
Yeah,
Got
and
video
then
of
we're
that.
just kind of sitting there going like, so do we just go
Yeah.
around?
Finally,
Okay.
a cop moved his car and let all the traffic go around while they arrested the man.
We
and
just
all. It was
happened to
pretty cool.
have front row seats to
So
it.
we're like, well, I'll be darned. And
Yeah.
then,
like live cops. Just
yeah, it
watching
was
cops.
basically.
awesome.
Love that.
But anyway, got back to the house safe and
Yeah.
sound. But then the next morning was a pretty simple, easy day. The show started at 9, so we were
Yeah.
at the convention center by 8. Got
More
everything
reasonable
set
wake
up. This was our busy day. Wednesday was quite
Yes.
possibly the busiest day of the entire show.
The busiest we've ever been at SEMA.
Yeah,
for
that
sure.
day went by so fast. So many
Yeah.
influencers and YouTube stars stopped
Yeah.
by, said hi. It was great.
Saw
Really
the guys
good
from
show.
Fitment Industries drop by too. I think a couple times.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Then Wednesday night we had what was Wednesday night? Wednesday night was the Rennie Doyle Detail Mafia Detailers meet
Right.
and greet
Yep.
at the place.
Yeah.
So first off, we parked. We all got dolled up, dressed up for this one.
Yep.
This was a big event.
Yeah,
We were
dressed snazzy.
we were sponsoring it as well. Some of the other brands. So
Mhm.
we showed up for the event. That was a really, really nice event. All of us had a great time there, and I think it probably was one of my favorite nights of the week.
Yeah. No, it was really
We got to
nice.
see tons of people in the industry. Everybody just hanging out. There was food, drinks, big open place inside, outside.
It was a really good indoor-outdoor setup. Lots of space.
Reminded me kind of the restaurant we found
In New York.
in New York
Yeah.
at the in Saugerties.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they had activities.
Nothing will compare to the partition.
Nothing
I mean, the
will
partition
the
is
partition
special.
is special, but
because it was hidden.
had the same vibe in the
Vibes.
sense
Yeah.
that it was like 3 garage doors that opened up into a patio.
And this place was called The Place on 7th,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And it was located in Old Vegas. So
Mhm.
you kind of had that. Well, there was a... Okay, I'll put it this way. Like, we ended up kind of walking around, getting a sense of the streets and stuff. I went with John and Jimmy and those guys and walked around a little bit. And when we were walking back, there's a giant mantis like structure.
from
and it's
Burning Man.
blowing flame.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing. So that was cool.
Yeah, well, and the worry was that it was a 21 and over,
Yeah.
and we had Jimmy with us. So I went and talked to Chris Woolman, Rennie's hitman,
Yep.
The Hitman, yeah.
the hitman, and got him to grab the lady who was the manager of the place and said, "Look, we've got one of our employees is under 21, but we want him in
Yeah.
here with us." And so she made an arrangement to have him come in.
And the whole place is rented out, so it's not like
whole
there's
place was rented
random
out. Yeah, so
people coming
we were able
through.
to get him in, which was good because then we could have him under our care.
Yes.
But But
Otherwise, I was just going to walk with him.
well, Fremont
until
Street was
keep
like
him-
2 blocks away. We could have
Yeah.
taken him down there. We were talking, we'll just take turns, trade out.
Yeah.
So that worked out really well, though, to have everybody there. We all hung
Yeah.
out, had a good time. They gave away some stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody got to hang out and talk. We got to see all our friends at G-Technic and, Color Lock and all those guys. It was a blast. We had a
Yeah.
lot of fun with everybody. Got a good talk with Barry Thiel, SB3.
Nice.
Said hi to our friends at Carolina Detail Supply. We just had a good time. Ian got to spend a long time from Auto Fiber with Jeff and Carolyn. They got to spend a great time talking, catching up. PNS, the guys from PNS, we got to spend a long time with them.
It was the who's who. You
It was
got
just
all the
everybody
folks.
was there.
Yeah.
If you go around and look, the guys from Buffenshine were there. The guys from Lake Country were there. The guys from Rupes, from Flex.
But all these
everybody
different
was there.
competitors coming together under one roof and
All
just
of them hanging out.
shaking hands and stuff.
Everybody just hanging out and enjoying each
Super
other.
cool.
Just vibing.
Which was really probably my favorite part about it. And then we all headed home. It was like 10:30, 11 maybe.
Yeah.
We headed back to the houses, got to the houses. Some people continued to drink. I didn't.
I did.
But a lot of people didn't either.
Me either.
But it was still a rough night. That was probably the night that most of the team kind of maybe drank a little more than they needed to. It's probably the hardest night for some of them.
Yeah.
But Thursday morning arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Almost a little too early for some people.
After a few days of
well, you think
SEMA,
about it.
any morning
You think
seems
about it.
too
Now
early.
it's been 2 days of SEMA. For some of us, we've been there 6-7 days already, or 5 days or
Yes.
whatever. Very long day. So
yeah.
we leave, head to the convention center. It's a rough day, but Thursday turned out to be just as busy as
It
Wednesday.
It really was. It's the difference between our first year when we were tucked around a corner versus this year and last year we've been on the aisle, and this year we're further up the aisle. We're closer to those front doors, and more people know who we
Yeah.
are now. So
Yeah.
we get a lot of folks coming through, and oh, by the way, there's an orange Lamborghini from Fate of the Furious, and so that kind of got people too.
Yeah.
So people came to see Freddie, they came to see the car, they came to see us, the new product line. It was extremely busy, but the response has been super positive.
What
We
did you
really
guys get
enjoyed
to
that.
do on Thursday?
Yeah, we
did you guys
sent
go
you
do
guys
anything on Thursday? You remember?
Anthony's just bobbing his head right now.
I didn't go out.
You didn't
No?
go out on Thursday?
No.
No, it was Jimmy and Morgan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What'd you guys
Yeah,
do
what did
Thursday
you guys
morning?
do?
We ran around and got lost.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, I trusted Jimmy because he had seen where all the booths were without all the people that you can't see over.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't think it would be that confusing. I'm pretty good with sense of direction and like
Sure.
knowing, where to navigate, which turn we just made, which direction I'm facing now. That went away.
Okay.
That was completely gone.
You get disoriented in those
So
halls.
I had remembered seeing like the Rupes booth. I didn't remember what building it was in
Yeah.
because I was like, I saw that yesterday, but now I have no idea where I am now.
Yeah.
So that was difficult, but we did see a lot of booths that we had known that they were going to be there, but we didn't know where they were.
Right.
And we eventually found a lot of what we were looking for, even though it was
It just took a little longer than
Yeah.
maybe you initially.
yeah.
thought it would
I
be.
really would have needed a full map, or like
You had one, just so you know, on your badge. You could have pulled out.
which I
and
did.
opened it up.
I did pull it out,
Okay,
but
good.
did that tell me which building it was in?
No, that was why I asked you all to download the SEMA app, available in the App Store. Simple download
Have
would
that.
pinpoint your actual GPS and tell you how to get
Wild.
out of each room.
Yeah. That,
Wow.
So
And now you know
that
for
wasn't
future
a thing
reference.
Because was there also any service in any of these areas?
That is the challenge.
that's the questionable part. But
Yeah.
yes, there is a SEMA app that would tell you
Well,
how to
I'm
get out
glad
of a
they
building.
did that because
So.
that's necessary.
So future reference, Morgan will download the SEMA app next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we tried to rotate people out.
Yeah,
as we
Thursday
could. Get
afternoon-
you guys out there to experience it, see it.
Yep. Thursday afternoon, I had to leave to go to the PNS booth because I was doing a panel with Dylan Von Kleist, Kevin Davis, Rennie, and Bob Phillips.
And you took Jimmy with you.
Took
when you
Jimmy
went.
with me this time to go wander over there so he could film a lot of it, take
Yeah.
pictures and all that kind of stuff. Great event. We probably had at one point maybe 30, 40 people standing around the booth watching while we talked, which was really good. Some of the friends of the industry, things like that. It was great to see them stop by and say hi.
Yeah.
At that time, I was able to swing by the North Hall, say hi to the team at Rupes, say hi to the team at Avery Dennison, say hi to the team at 3M, and
Almost-
3M Vinyl.
Yeah, I almost forgot to mention during our setup day, we ran across Justin Pate out there setting up. So that was nice to see him.
Yeah, we were able to drop off some of the Wowo's products at the 3M or the Avery Dennison booth with some towels so that they could use that.
Yeah, he was
during
using
their
them
wrap,
to make sure stuff
wrap
worked.
system.
So.
Yeah, so that was nice also. And then I was able to grab a George and come back, which was nice. And then my kids absolutely lost their minds.
Oh, I bet.
On the one, and they fought over him all day yesterday.
Oh.
So Dylan, if you're listening to this, I need another one bad.
Just to prevent fights.
Yeah. So they we made it back I talked at 3:00.
Yeah.
We didn't make it back till almost 5 because the conversation went till about 4, and then it took us 45 minutes almost to get back. It was such a long walk.
Mm-hmm.
Then that was Thursday night. Then we headed back to we didn't even leave. We stayed because traffic was so bad to get out.
Yeah.
We just hung out for 45 minutes, changed our shirts, and then headed to Top Golf.
Because
to spend
then
our
it was
evening for
our
a Top
party
Golf appreciation
to
party
host.
that we do
Yeah.
for all of our friends. And that was a great party. We had about 46 people show up.
Yeah, walking in, we were behind Parker from Vehicle Virgins, and Alex Choi had his group, and they were both going in there.
Yeah, so I saw them. I said, hey, I went to go say, "Hey guys," but like I could tell that I was not how do I say this? They weren't giving off the very warm,
like, "Hey, talk to me."
Yeah,
vibes.
it was kind of like the walking fast. I'm like, oh, I'll just talk to him later.
It was just like, dude, I drive a
Don't worry.
Lamborghini with an exoskeleton. I have no time to talk to you.
Don't worry, we will see you in our booth later on tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
Basically what happened.
Pretty much, yeah. So, what ended up happening at Top Golf that night was pretty awesome. We all
good night. We had Rag Company
all of our
Europe,
friends,
Rag Company Australia,
friends,
we had Rag
family.
Company UK.
Yeah.
We had Rag Company Canada. We had
The gang's all there.
Yeah, we had all the gang there. We had Color Lock there. We had IK there. We had Detailer's Domain there.
Matt there,
We
Scott
had
from
Matt,
Koenig.
Scott from Koenig.
Oh man,
who else was all there?
keep
Freddie
going.
was there,
Patrick.
Freddie was
obviously.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of
If
our
we're
folks
missing
were there.
anybody, we're sorry. We're just
Glove
trying to
Box
think.
was there.
Yeah, I think we said that.
But it was just fun. It was good
Yeah.
time. Dave from PNS and then
Yes.
Sid's husband Mike showed up.
So, did I talk Matt Mormon into doing a Civic Si giveaway
Possibly.
on his Obsessed Garage channel? Yes.
If you
I
see
did.
one, you'll know where the idea came from.
So we went pretty deep into it, and he was getting all excited. I'm like, dude, you could do this. And he's like, yeah, I can put this part on. I'm like, Mike, do it.
Yep.
Do it. I'll buy those T-shirts. I will, because I want to get in on that.
Yep.
But no, me and Josh got into a little driving competition.
Ooh.
Who can hit the furthest ball?
And you guys were killing it out there. I must
Josh,
say.
Josh
did
was
you end up
throwing out
winning?
his back.
He was grunting.
He was yelling. It
No,
wasn't
I will
grunting.
say Fraser was knocking him out of the park too, though. That guy, but you expect it. It's in his blood. Golf.
Yeah.
Scottish.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
good. We had a good time. Robbie was hitting some good balls as well.
Yeah.
It was nice to see. Everybody seemed to have fun. A lot of people enjoyed it.
And the food's always good there too.
Yeah, the
food was great. I
was.
only had to kick out 2 people.
This
Who
year.
would you have to kick out?
These 2 old German men that showed up that just walked up and started filling their plates. And I was like, excuse me.
Hold up.
So,
What?
so
I didn't hear this.
squatters.
So last year at our party, our Top Golf party, Top Golf, if you're listening, we love you guys. We're thankful that we could have our event there every year. So last year we had the same number of people,
Mm-hmm.
right? We were only given 2 waitresses to help us.
Mm-hmm.
Those, bless their hearts, those girls worked their butts off to try
Yep.
and keep everything going. But I wrote kind of a review for the next year. Like, here's the deal. This is what I felt
We
was
had
lacking.
a lot of people in the booths.
So this year,
You can smell that from here.
they gave us almost 5 wait staff. And so 4 wait staff and like 1 security,
Yeah.
which was nice. We made sure we were wristbanding our own people that we invited
Yeah.
rather than letting them just wristband people that were showing up.
Right.
Like they did last year. So we were in control of the people walking in the door or walking into our group
Yeah.
setting. We had 5 bays. But I had these 2 guys just walk up from the side and just start ordering food or just start getting food that was laid out. And I said, excuse me, this is a private party. And the guy goes, yeah, we were invited, and hands me a business card. And I was like, is this you or who invited you? And he's like, oh, this is the guy that invited us. Hands me a card. I don't know what this card is. It's all in German. And I said,
You're like, Lars, Bodo, what are you
"No."
doing?
So I'm like, I have no idea who this is. And And I said, and I look at the name. I don't know the name. I said, do you even know what party this is? And he said the name of a company. And I said, yeah, this is not that party. This is, and I pointed to the screens that said Rag Company, SEMA Appreciation Party. And the guy looked at me and he just was like, okay, whatever. And kept loading his plate. And so.
And for people right now listening who think this sounds mean that you're kicking someone out, please understand there are repercussions if someone who's not invited ends up ordering stuff on your tab.
Right.
And you're paying for all this stuff. Because we do. We got to pay. We're not like the crazy big bucks places who can just throw money at stuff. It's still a family
all that
operation.
Food costs money.
Yeah.
Right? So we basically, I grabbed a security person and said, can you help these gentlemen find their party?
Yeah, that's the
And he
nicest
said-
possible way to redirect
I
them.
said, they're not in our party, but these guys are looking for their party. And he said, yeah, not a problem. Come on, guys. Then the German guy looked at me kind of weird, took his plate, and then proceeded to throw it in the trash.
What?
Of our food.
What a
So I was like, yeah, all right, good riddance, bro.
disgusting person.
Like, get out. Like, that's fine. So luckily we only had the 2. Last year we had, I think there were 6 people total I had to kick out that literally just walked up to our thing and just started eating because they were standing at the front door waiting for their spot.
It was like
and they're
people
"Oh,
from
we'll
another
just start
party. They
eating."
wandered their way and they're like, hey, look, food. And they get
Yeah.
it. And then other times it's like
Yeah.
other YouTubers
And last
trying
year
to get
I'd
in.
asked,
And,
This year I asked specifically, please do not put a party by the front door, park us somewhere else. And they did. And so to Dustin Fangman, the head of events there, great guy, Boise guy, super cool. Really, thank you, Dustin. We're going to be sending you a hat, T-shirt, some stuff in the mail just because we appreciate you helping us out and taking care of us.
Thank you for managing it really
well. That was
well.
a very good, we had a great time. Thanks to everybody that showed up. That was a lot of fun. We had a blast with you. And then we all headed back to the house. Friday morning, last day of SEMA, showed up bright and early. Jimmy had to pack. Morgan had to pack. Carolyn flew out. She had to pack. So we had 3 people leaving. Carolyn left first thing in the morning, 9 a.m. So we got to the show. Carolyn gave us all hugs, and in her words, she said, "I need to hug my kids," and gave us all hugs. That was really sweet. And then she took her Uber.
We're all a family, guys. It's
Yeah.
just how it
She
works.
took her Uber to the airport, and we started the show without her for Friday. And Friday went by way too fast.
It really did.
That
But
was
also
wild.
because Friday is an hour shorter than the other
Friday is an
days.
hour, ends at 4. So that was hard. When did you guys leave? 2?
We left at 2, but we were kind of like, getting ready to leave at like 1:30. We were trying to wrap up, trying to make sure that we weren't forgetting anything, blah, blah, blah.
Sure, yeah.
We had to also make sure.
Because it was
that
you and
more-
Jimmy that were flying out.
Yeah, and Jimmy didn't have Jimmy doesn't really know how to fly, I think, because
Yeah.
he hasn't flown in a little bit.
Oh, what happened there?
So we had to get Jimmy, we had to get him his boarding pass. I wanted him to have that when he, got up to the counter and everything. And then after...
He didn't have pre-check.
He didn't have pre-check, but when we checked our bags, I asked him to print us boarding passes.
Oh,
and
and then
my pre-check also was not on it.
Oh.
Both times I had to ask them to add my number. And I wasn't sure if when we got into Vegas, if they were going to be nice and add it, or if they were going to be
So
like,
what'd they do?
sorry, you should have done that when you got
So
the
did
ticket.
they?
They did,
Oh, nice. Good.
surprisingly.
So did you get on because he was traveling with you? Did he get pre-check too? Or oh, good.
He did.
Oh, Anthony's got a phone call. He's getting
Wow.
up.
Yeah, so Jimmy did get pre-check, which was good, because we had a lot of stuff shoved into our bags.
Yeah.
Funny thing, poor Jimmy. I'm not making fun of him here, but I am a little bit. We got up to the counter, and obviously Jimmy didn't fly down, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Jimmy was packing kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Ah.
So we put our things up. I obviously had flown down, so I didn't have
Yeah, you
that
were
You
on
much
that
already
stuff.
knew
down.
it was going to work.
Yeah, so I knew that I didn't add really to my bag.
Yeah.
So I knew that I was good to go. So I, pop mine up, give the guy my ID, and he says, all right, you're good to go. Go ahead and put the next one up. So Jimmy pops his bag up, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, wait a second.
Looks kind of heavy.
That's a big bag.
And he's not taking the cameras back with him
No,
because I'm taking those in
Yeah,
the car.
because you guys were driving back, so it's not like we had to take
Jimmy's
all this.
Jimmy's was full of
Swag and merch.
swag and merch.
Yeah. So long story short, the guy says, hey, you're 2 pounds too heavy on this bag.
Oh.
2 pounds.
And I'm like, that's not a lot. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
Just take a pair of
16
shoes
ounces.
out and carry them. Take a pair of jeans out, something that's dense. That's not, going to take up a huge amount of room. You're not going to want to carry 55 shirts through the airport, but just something that's dense. Literally a pair of shoes, maybe a pair of jeans, and like a hoodie or something like that.
Sure.
Well, Jimmy didn't want to do that. So Jimmy just said, it's fine. I'll just pay the $75.
Jimmy, no.
And I
No.
said, me and the guy look at each other and we're like, Jimmy, it's 2 pounds.
He's looking like, really, bro?
If
You're
it
gonna
was
do
like
that?
15 pounds, it would
Then,
be like,
if there's not a way to do it.
there's not really
2
a
pounds
way.
is a pack of batteries.
2 pounds is literally nothing. And so
2
I'm
pounds
like,
is not worth $75.
I'm like, Jimmy, just take. I'm sitting here. Jimmy, just take it out.
Jimmy has
just
2
take it.
Miatas, so
Just do it.
Jimmy's got
got
money
money.
to throw. He's got money to throw away. So I was, if that's what he wanted to do, I said, is that going to charge to the card that the tickets were booked on, or is that a separate fee? And they say, oh, it's separate. So I said, okay, Jimmy,
Divvy it
let's
up.
see it. Let's see the money. So he takes out a
buddy.
card, hands it to the man.
Okay.
The man says, who's Michelle?
It's his mom's
And
card.
Jimmy says, that's my mom.
no.
So the man says, you can't use that.
I can't take this.
So after about 15 minutes of going back and forth saying, just
Oh, my
take out a
God.
pair of shoes, the guy at first didn't even want to let Jimmy pay. He was like, dude, just take a pair of jeans out.
Doing everything to
and I'm
stop
like,
it.
Jimmy, just take a freaking pair of jeans out. Like, it's hurting me.
So let's cut to the chase. Has Jimmy learned his lesson?
Jimmy learned his lesson.
Okay.
I did carry a lot of Jimmy's things in my bag. I had to shove a
sorry.
lot of Jimmy's things in my bag.
Yeah.
And Jimmy had to shove some more things even in his bag.
Wow.
So
Jim.
I heard he
that-
had a lot of shoes.
he did. For what? I don't know.
A lot of shoe changes.
A lot of
Flexing
shoes.
on
He had to have a
Jimmy's
shoe
too
game.
funny.
Okay.
Had to have that SEMA shoe game on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, we made it through security. We
Nice.
got on our plane. We had some Shake Shack before.
Oh,
It was delicious.
Not. Oh.
Yeah,
well, I'm glad
no,
you weren't
we-
with us.
Oh,
Yeah,
glad weren't
wow,
with us.
you would've
Morgan,
cursed
we
us.
don't go to anything with steak or shake in the name.
Yeah, we just don't.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's
for
a
you.
rule we have. It sounds arbitrary, but it's a little bit
You
of
guys are
a
good to go
superstition
as long
we
as the
have.
3 of us are not with you
Yes.
on any flight and or ride anywhere.
Well, it's the 3 of
we're
us
okay
plus
with
my
it.
dad. Any one of us go to a place with steak and or shake in the name,
We will be cursed.
bad
Yeah.
things happen
Yeah.
to
Well, I'm
that
sorry
trip.
to hear that. Me and Jimmy were blessed. We were totally fine.
I'm glad you
We
enjoyed
made it
yourselves.
to our gate. We got
Excellent.
on the plane. And we sat next to a man who knew who we were.
Oh, lovely.
And
Wow.
he was also at SEMA, apparently. A lot of people were
Yeah.
on both flights here
Sure.
and there. There was a lot of people from SEMA. So
Well, that's
Nice.
cool.
Yep, and then we made it home. Jimmy lost one of his AirPods on the flight,
course he
and
did.
was trying to get up and run around and look for it while the plane was in flight, turning his flashlight on, taking my bag out from under the seat. Just not a good look for any of us.
Thank you for reminding me why I don't own
And I
AirPods
said, Jimmy,
yet.
just stop moving around so much. We'll find it when we get off the plane and the people all get up
Yeah.
and the lights come on. Well, he didn't like that, so
No.
he's getting his flashlight out. And Jimmy, stop. So Jimmy didn't find it. He thought it was gone, and I said, "We're on an airplane. There's not that many places that
Yeah.
you can go.
It is
it's
a
here.
contained environment.
It's very
you will
much
find
here
it.
somewhere."
Right.
Yeah.
We had to wait till the plane landed. The lights came on. I looked back behind the seat. There it was, right
There
in the
it
middle
is.
of nothing. I said, "Do you see what I mean? Like, just stop."
In fairness, he
Make a
hasn't
flyer
done a lot
out
of
him.
this.
He's
so-
young. For those of you wondering, Jimmy's only 18.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
Newly minted 18.
Good kid.
Yeah,
No,
when I
we
lost one of
turned
my
out
Pog
okay.
Slammers one time on a plane when I
Right.
was a kid,
Yeah.
that was
Oh.
the end of the world, right? You know how it was a very rare Pog Slammer. It was
Yeah.
it was an 8-ball Pog Slammer, heavyweight.
Oh.
This thing destroyed people. And then I had one that was like a saw shape, right?
Nice.
Sharp. Did you have Pogs?
No.
Yeah. No, I know what
You
you're
guys
talking
forget
about.
I'm older than you.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, but
Pogs
Pogs
are
were
almost a
your-
Gen X thing, almost.
Nope, they're not.
Really?
Yep.
Pogs were like
Morgan,
right
do you
around my
even
time,
know
a
what
little
a Pog
before it.
is?
no.
They're
Okay.
basically pieces of cardboard
Yeah.
that you would stack, and then you would take a piece of metal and you would throw it on the cardboard, and it would collapse these towers that you would build.
Things we did before the internet was widespread.
Okay.
So, yes.
So,
Anyway,
well,
so while we were flying, you
yeah.
guys were tearing down.
So we were tearing down,
Yes.
but Friday morning, me and Dane and Anthony headed over to our friends at Koenig, went and checked out Scott's booth, said hi, and then we recorded an episode of the podcast that what we should do is probably share it with Scott so that he can put it on their podcast, Behind the
Yes.
Wheel,
Mm.
the Koenig podcast.
I think you'd like that.
And we talked about wheel manufacturing,
It was a
wheel
great chat.
cleaning. Really great. We got there at 8:30, did the podcast, got done about 9:30, headed back. So thank you, Scott at Koenig, for
Yes.
helping us out.
That was a lot of fun.
We always love seeing Scott in the flesh, and they had a lot of great stuff this year.
I just love talking with the guy because he always has interesting insights.
Yeah,
and
awesome,
stuff.
awesome guy. So again, you guys, it's just one of those things we like doing. We like visiting our friends and seeing them.
So look forward to that podcast because it's worth listening to. Definitely.
But yeah, so after you guys left Friday night, we were getting ready to tear down. 4 o'clock happens, and SEMA penalizes you if you tear down prior to 4 o'clock and a floor manager catches you.
Oh, don't want that.
So if it's 3:50, 3:55, and you start breaking your booth down, and a floor manager walks by, you get a demerit.
Wow.
You don't want that. They keep close tabs.
There was a dude 3 booths away from us. By 3:45, had his booth totally torn down.
I don't
And
think he
Rob,
understood how that worked.
Ram, and Lars and I were watching.
Oh,
We were like, bro, you can't be doing that.
dude is screwed.
Like, you can't be doing that. Hopefully she doesn't come by. So 4 o'clock on the nose, we could start breaking down our booth, but we can't legally break down a booth until our car has left the space, our booth space. That's the rules. So
And it's just a liability for.
So we stopped our floor manager when she was cruising by. We stopped her and I said, so here's the plan. Freddie had said, you know what? I don't really want to take the car on the ignited cruise. He goes, so if I pull it out, can I park it somewhere? She goes, no. The moment you pull it out, we're putting it in the cruise. And he goes, okay, well, I don't want to do that. So she said, I would recommend you guys go get food, come back, secure all your valuables, come back and grab some food. So Freddie did. Freddie was like, well, I'll go for a walk for a little while. We kind of tore down like the little stuff that we could. We kind of, product. And
basically
towels
pulling
and,
things off of the trussing. The trussing is the big part we couldn't tear down yet.
Yeah.
But the
So-
stuff on it is fair
Yeah, the
game.
backdrop we tore down. We did, we got all the product shelves off and things like that, and just had everything piled, waiting.
Right.
And so about 6:30.
Yeah.
So the show ended at 4.
Thereabouts.
By about 6 o'clock, 6:30, they had lifted the carpet. A lot of the cars had been moved out, and there was finally a spot where we could pull the Lambo out. So we pulled the Lambo out and got it to a spot where Freddie could just drive away.
Well, yeah, you want to
He didn't
explain
have
the
to-
process of how it got out there because that was kind of interesting.
Well,
It
you have
was-
to drive it. We had to drive it through again, just like coming in. You had to drive it around all the pallets that were being dropped off. You
Yeah.
had to, all the carpet rolls.
You're dodging things.
You're
being set
dodging
out.
things. But we got it out, and then once it was out there, we had to kind of part the seas of people walking.
Yeah.
So we kind of picked corners and walked around the vehicle as we went past. We got to pass by the green Eclipse.
Yeah, that was
from
super
Fast
cool.
and Furious that was there.
It was a great filming opportunity to show all the ignited people going that way and him going this way,
Yeah.
and you just capture everything on the way through.
Pretty cool.
But we got the car out, and then we did some dumpster diving
Yeah.
because
That
a
was
lot of the
before.
companies,
Freddie
a lot
wanted
of the
to do it with
companies
us.
just throw away stuff that they can't
Yeah.
ship back. We didn't find anything really good. I mean, we did find a
Some
Civic
random
front fender
stuff.
for
Yeah.
a Honda Civic, so that was kind of cool. I found a downpipe for a Subaru that we ended up giving to Connor.
Which had somehow already rusted near the
Yeah, that
walls.
was funny. It was all rusted.
It's like,
it's a new
been
product.
a few days.
Yeah. And then there was a pillow and a blanket from one of the tents that was sitting there.
Well, yeah, he was warning and goes, all right, when you started like digging through and you're like, so I found some popcorn, and Freddie goes, well, now we're going full homeless. Let's dial
Yeah.
this back a little bit.
It was good.
Real quick, guys, I just want to say thanks for having me on here. I have to go pick up my dog from the
Okay,
groomers.
have fun.
All
But
right.
this has been awesome. I've had a really good
Great
time.
stuff.
Hour and a half podcast. I think it's probably going to go another half hour. Lots to
We're
talk
trying
about
to
still.
get it knocked out here.
But this has been awesome. Thanks for
Levi
having me
can
on
speak
here.
to your section there at the end. So,
I really appreciate
yeah.
it, guys. Thanks for having me, and have a great rest of your week.
Bye, Anthony.
I'll just see you on
Nice.
Thursday.
That was the most serious you've been on this
Okay.
podcast.
Tim,
I
remember to
hated
cut that,
that.
one part
That
out.
was super
That was
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable
weird.
how serious he was
Oh.
being.
Wow.
He's got to pick a dog up from the groomers. So anyway, we headed over to we
Spread out now?
yeah, we can spread
Yep.
out.
Yep. All right. So, back to it.
So we headed over to the we finally got the car out, right? The car was gone. We could finally break everything down. We got our crates, but we had to physically grab our black crate because they were sitting out there and we paid for priority, meaning that our crates should have been delivered first. And turns out our stickers weren't on, our priority stickers weren't on our crates.
Right.
We never received priority stickers. We were on the priority list, but there were no stickers. So the team couldn't find.
We actually paid for that.
Yeah, the team couldn't find that was moving the cases. Couldn't find our case with a priority because they were moving all the priority ones.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, that's weird. So we just went and grabbed our black case, lifted it up, carried it over to our spot, just so we could start putting the product in there.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple union guys say some pretty mean things to us as we walked by, but that's fine. I understand their position. But once John got that handled with our floor manager, we had a very great forklift driver that literally was like, "Oh, that's your boot? Okay, yeah." Went and grabbed it, pulled it out of the pile.
Super cool. Made it happen.
Brought it right over there in less than a minute and a half after we carried our black case in.
Now, I
set
just
it down.
want to point out, if you'll recall, if you heard how it went for us last year, how different an experience was it from last year.
We basically had to bribe somebody with cheeseburgers.
We did not.
This time we
do
paid
any of
ahead
those
of it.
things.
We paid it in advance for priority.
Yeah.
Bring back or whatever. So
And yet somehow we were
all
there
right.
till midnight last year.
last year we were there till midnight. This year we were done by 7:45,
Oh, awesome.
8 o'clock.
Big difference.
Yeah.
So we got the booth all packed, got everything done, said goodbye to the guys at Color Lock because they'd also finished theirs.
They left before us.
Said bye to MTM. Everybody was done. It was good, but we got our booth finished. Said bye to Mark at AU Car Care Co.
Yeah.
He stayed and helped us break down, which
He
was
did.
awesome of
He's-
Mark.
he's-
Thank
He
you.
didn't have to do that, but he did. and it
Thank
was
you, Mark,
great.
for doing that. That was
Yeah.
great. And then we decided to drive home back to our house, and we thought, oh man, you know what we should eat? Chinese food. Someone said, I want Chinese.
Oh wow.
I think I threw that out there, and then Anthony said, "Good God, no! My stomach can't handle that." Shocking.
So we said, let's just go to Panda.
Oh my
Oh yeah,
god.
that transformed into going to Panda.
I don't
So-
think that's any better.
No.
No.
So we headed to Panda. We found that the casino across the street from the house had 2 Panda Expresses.
Now
in it.
here's the thing, though. We were in 2 separate cars, and one
I sent the
got way
address
ahead of
that
the
I was
other.
at.
So we heard find the Panda on Mead. So we
On
typed
Lake
in
Mead.
Panda, and we found basically Mead, Lake Mead Road, street,
But
whatever.
I'd also sent the actual address to Dane's phone.
Yeah, and
Right.
we were driving, so I couldn't check it, but I asked Josh to check, and he asked the sat nav, and it said, go to this one. So we went
Yeah.
to it. Turns out, very different, 15 minutes away from the one you were at.
Right.
So,
Oh.
So me,
By that
me
point,
and
it was getting
Fraser,
to be a
me,
little
Fraser, Robbie, and
late.
Jeff are in the car. And while I'm trying to do this, I realized at that moment how exhausted I was.
yeah.
The moment we sat in the car, it was like, oh my gosh. Like, I think we'd all been running on adrenaline all week.
Yeah.
And we finally, like, our bodies knew they could relax.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure it was the same for you guys on
Yeah.
the plane. It was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And you
So,
start to just feel it all over. Just
Yeah.
like, oh, aching, ow.
well, I
oof.
had my seat heater on, which didn't help.
Oh.
'Cause I was
So
like-
you were just cozy.
I was really cozy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, I was trying to talk, and I was like, John, just go to the
Just slurring your speech.
go to the Panda.
They're
We're going to
shutting down.
Texas place. Anyway, we got to the Panda. There was only 3 items available. Everything else was put
Oh.
away because they were
Oh.
closing. And I
Ah.
said, I don't want this. And then Robbie looks at it, and he's a vegetarian. And Robbie's like, I can't eat anything here.
No.
And he goes, and Fraser goes, let's just get a pizza.
Yep.
And Jeff goes, how about Denny's?
God.
And I said, yeah, I don't know if I want Denny's. And Jeff goes to the bathroom, and Fraser and Robbie and I look at each other, and I go, none of us, we all looked and we're like, let's go back to the house. Let's order Domino's. I had a fresh 2-liter of Diet Pepsi sitting in the fridge.
That's what he was really waiting
They've been
for.
chilling all day,
Yeah.
right?
what he
Ready to
wanted.
crack that bad
So
boy
chilling.
open. And there was a lot of beer still in the fridge.
Yes.
And so I was like, you know what? Let's get some pizza.
We got lots of stuff here.
We've got
we can
beer
do
and soda at the house. Like, let's just go back and put on our pajamas and eat pizza, stuff our
Have a-
faces.
have
And
with
it
a
got
pizza.
boys'
dark.
night. Have
It
a
got
boys'
dark
night.
so early. It just felt like it was way later than it actually was.
Yeah.
So by the time we got there, we're all tuckered out. It's just like, yeah.
So I called
pizza. Do it.
car number 2 and said, this is car number 1. We are headed back to the house. We're ordering pizza. And Anthony goes, done. I'm already ordering. What pizzas do we need?
Yep.
I gave him the order. He said, I'll have those delivered.
Awesome.
We're 15 minutes away. I said, perfect. We will see you there. So we got back to the house. The rest of the team showed up, and Domino's was fast. It was like 30 minutes, and they were there.
The Ubers and lifts there were fast, and the pizza was fast.
Yeah.
Like everything there was very quick.
Yeah,
People
we were
were
like,
on the
holy
ready.
crap.
Yeah.
So we all have basically gotten our pajamas and had only chatted for a few minutes, and pizzas were there. I was like, wow,
That's
this is
awesome.
awesome.
Oh, no. I was all about wearing the pajama pants. It was just
Yeah.
that time of day.
I
Yeah.
bet.
So then we ate pizza, and then literally all of us went to bed because Anthony and I had to get up the next morning.
You did.
You guys still had stuff to do.
It was not over for you.
No, we
No.
got up at 6. Anthony and I got up at 6, and I said, like
yeah, that
when
was
I woke
kind of
up.
my morning, too.
And Anthony did the same thing. He rolled over. He's like, oh, my gosh. And I swear
Everything hurts.
we felt like we had beat each other with baseball bats the night before
It
in our
did.
sleep. We were so
It did.
sore. We both popped some ibuprofen first thing in the morning. Like I took a shower. Anthony took a shower. We got dressed. We were out the door at 7:15. We took Robbie with us because we had to pack all our stuff. Robbie had a flight, but his wasn't until like 4 o'clock. So he's
Yeah.
like, what am I going to do? You guys were packing to leave the house.
Yeah.
So we cleaned up the house, packed everything. Anthony, Robbie, and I hopped in an Uber and headed to the South Point Hotel and Casino and did the Detail Mafia annual meeting.
Tell us, how
Hung
was
out with them.
that?
That was good, really good. We got in there. We had to start talking at about 9 a.m. So we arrived by 7:30 because the thing started at 8. We were going to speak at 8:30, but Rennie ran a little long. It was great because then we got to talk at 9 o'clock. So
Yeah.
Anthony and I talked from 9 to noon, basically 3 hours.
There you go.
Really great. We talked about branding, marketing, social media marketing, branding the company, how we do our marketing. Awesome conversation. I think everybody really liked it. We got a lot of Q&As.
Good.
That went really well.
It was supposed to go for 3 hours.
It
so
was
did you
3
manage
hours.
3
We did
hours?
3 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, it was easy.
Okay,
Easy
good.
3 hours for us. Then we headed back. Like we hung out for a little while. We had lunch with Robbie at the convention center there, or at the hotel. Then Robbie left to catch his plane because it was 1 o'clock. He was like, all right, I'll head over. Then Anthony and I stayed till 4. At about
Okay.
3:34, we were starting to really feel it, like getting tired,
Yeah.
exhausted. And then so we grabbed an Uber, headed to the airport, had some dinner when we got there, hung out, waited for our flight. Sid showed up with like another guy, one of her customers. He was at SEMA. Mark, the guy with the white Jeep that usually stops in, the optometrist,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
there on our flight as well.
Nice.
And then the guy that works for Charlie Hutton, the Charlie Hutton Color Studio.
Charlie was on
Yeah.
our flight.
Oh, he was? Nice.
Because the guy sitting next to us was like, oh, Charlie Bradshaw was up there. And he was talking. And I was like, Charlie Hutton?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah.
So, yeah.
You're
so,
like, hey, Charlie. And then he was like, oh, my God, you know Charlie?
Because my eyes, I don't think are working.
Yeah. So we saw him. So it was fun. So we all just kind of hung out and talked. So it was cool to see some Boise people just sit, and we all just caught up.
Nice.
And then literally hopped on our flight, direct flight home, hour and a half flight. We landed early, which was awesome. We had a lot of wheelchair people on the plane, so that took a little longer.
Sure.
But we were still ahead of schedule. So I was in an Uber at 9:30, and our flight was expected to land at 9:30. So I had already got my bag and got my Uber and was on the road. Walked in the door, said hi to my kids. They were asleep and totally unconscious and they both kind of woke up, looked at me, went back to sleep. Then the next morning they were screaming and excited that I was home. So all in all, it was really great. It was nice to finally get home. Yesterday I was exhausted still. I'm still tired. Today I'm very tired from this.
No,
but
just the whole body
How
is
was the
crying
drive?
out for... I drove us all the way there, and on the way back, I was feeling okay in the morning. I was like, yeah, we got this. And then maybe about 3...
Who was in your car?
4 hours. My initial passengers I had were... I had Fraser and I had John. And Josh rode with my dad to make sure he stayed awake in their truck. Just looking out.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the drive there was going good, but there was certain parts where I was just like, it's starting to fade a little bit, and I'll be Mr. Cautious and stuff. If I notice, like, start to feel a little sleepy, don't let that get you. And I'm usually good, like, I can do the road dog thing, I can drive. But in this case, I was like,
we were all exhausted.
I have other people who are capable, and, like, Josh was happy to drive, so I was like, you know what, I'll give Josh a shot, go ahead and trade around. So he drove after about, I'd say 3-4 hours in. I just kind of traded out with him. I got a little bit of a nap in the back because I sent John over to go sit with my dad in the other truck while Josh drove the one I had been driving, and I just sat in the back, turned on the seat heater, kind of passed out for maybe like 45 minutes, an hour. Then I was good to go again. So then I drove for a bit, and I went up with my dad. So then it was Josh, John, and Fraser, and the shorty, and I was up in the XL with my dad. And
Nice.
just
So you guys
drove.
all just kind of played musical
and
cars.
just musical chairs, musical cars, whatever you want to call it. And we made our way back, and it was good. But
Yeah, I texted you when we were boarding. Like we
Yeah.
were literally walking onto the flight, and you go, "Oh man, we just pulled into the driveway."
yeah, we literally just got into the driveway at the house. So I was like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting to beat you guys there, but
Yeah.
worked out that way. So yeah, not uneventful. I'm happy to report nothing bad happened on the
That's
drive,
good.
either down or back.
Nice.
So that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, then it was now we're here,
Yeah.
back to the grind.
Yep.
Yep. And here we are. We're all just
We're
tired.
like,
So-
here we are.
Wowo's is going to be available December 9th.
Yes,
So those
it
of you that are
will.
wondering or were checking it out at the show, December 9th is going to be our launch date.
And if you have questions about it, I highly recommend you dip in on Thursday, and you can ask us questions on the Q&A,
Yep.
and we can talk a little bit
Yeah,
about
we'll talk
the
a little
stuff.
more about the stuff.
Yeah.
Go follow the Instagram handles and all that stuff for Wowo's.
Yes. At Wowo's
Um,
Detailing. You can
yep.
catch up on there. Make sure you follow them.
Yep, Wowo's UK, Wowo's Car Care
Yes.
Craftsman, which is that Wowo's
Mhm.
UK. Check all those out. Get on there, and we're really excited to have this brand in house now, and we're really excited to hopefully have you guys purchase and buy it. It's going
Yeah.
to be available, business program, the dealer program as well. So for those of you running shops, you'll be able to purchase this stuff to be able to resell.
And it's all about
Um,
the experience. That's what it was made for from the ground up, was just have a good experience.
This is
using
a
it.
very easy retailable
Yeah.
brand, but
That doesn't mean
professional
it's
line
not
of
good, though.
products.
It'll
Yeah.
it'll hold its own against anything out there.
Yep.
So,
So
Love it.
I think you guys are really going to like it.
yep. And then the Gauntlet arrives in January,
Yes.
first of the year.
Gauntlet. And remember, that's not just one towel. That comes in 4 different sizes.
Yeah.
So it's got a little option
70-30
for everybody.
Korean. It's going to be great.
And I want to give a shout out to G-Tech for having these super comfy hats. This is really comfortable that they gave out at SEMA.
Yeah.
So
They were really nice hats.
yeah.
So-
So that's fun.
Yeah, we had a good time. So everybody that stopped by the booth, thank you so much for swinging by, saying hi to
Yes.
us. Those of our fans that showed up with gifts and
Yes.
candies and chocolates.
We love
Shout out in
you.
particular, Kyle House, Carnuba. You guys are awesome. You definitely hung around the booth a lot, and we love getting to know you guys better. Chat. It was really fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Good group. Alejandro
Yeah.
hung out
Alejandro
for a while. Like
always,
that was
yeah.
we just appreciate everything. So yeah, dude, I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we made it. Hour, 40 or so minutes. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Not
So,
horrible.
yeah, not terrible. And we lost an Anthony along the way,
That's
but
all right.
sometimes that happens. So, guys, gals, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And we hope that if you didn't get to go to SEMA this year, that you'll be able to join us sometime in future years.
Yeah.
Because we're going to keep going back, and who knows where our booth's going to be next time.
Yeah.
Well, and fun thing, click on Tavares Lamborghini
Yes.
on YouTube in the search bar.
Type
and you can
Tavares
see
Lamborghini.
all the videos of all the different people that have been posting lately of the car sitting in our booth.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
pretty rad.
It's awesome. You just
So-
see our branding pops in the background every single time in all of them.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Really
woo!
great.
But yeah, super fun. Really had a great time. And shout out Freddie. Like Freddie was a real sport through the whole thing.
Amazing.
Freddie,
Super
aka
fun to hang
Tavares,
out with.
fantastic guy, and just really made the whole like experience of having a car in the booth and everything. You couldn't ask for like a better guest in that kind
That
of.
was awesome. Thank you so
context.
much, dude. We absolutely worshipped it.
And I think all the people who
had a
came to
great
see
time.
him were really happy that they got to meet him,
Exactly.
and he's a real person, and
Yeah.
he's not mean.
yeah,
Because
amazing.
sometimes
Really
you get
great.
that, yeah, but this was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, awesome. So guys, until Thursday Q&A, this is us saying adios.
See ya.
Bye.